encased. You know, my name is Terry Bollea. And as an entertainer, I love you too. And as an entertainer, I tried to stay out of politics. But after everything that's happened to our country over the past 4 years, and everything that happened last weekend, I can no longer stay silent. I'm here tonight because I want the world to know that Donald Trump is a real American hero. And I'm proud to support my hero as the next president of this United States.
You fucking Hulk Hogan. Come on, lady brothers. You gotta vote for him.
You know,
too.
guys, I've known Donald Trump for over 35 years. You know, hold on a second, hold on. I just had a flashback. Man. This is really tripping. You know, the last time I was up on stage, Donald Trump was sitting at ringside at the Trump Plaza.
Over it when I do talk?
I was bleeding like a pig, and I won the world title right in front of Donald J. Trump.
Hopefully you guys can hear me okay.
And you know something? He's going to win in November, and we're all going to be champions again when he wins.
Turn them down a little bit more.
And like
Sound
I
check,
said,
anybody, let me know.
I've known that man
keep me informed if I'm doing all right.
years, and he's always been the biggest patriot, and he still is.
You know, I think I'm going to do the headphone thing.
He's always told you exactly what he thought, and he still does,
Mick?
brother.
Hello.
And no matter the odds, he always finds a way to win. And when he's back in our White House, America...
Yeah. Part of the problem is I got my microphone set up for just me. I don't know if I can go much louder. Let me see. Yeah, that's kind of as loud as that gets. Can you guys hear the...
You know, guys, over my career, I've been in the ring with some of the biggest, some of the baddest dudes on the planet. And I've squared off against warriors, savages, and I've even, like I said, body slammed giants in the middle of the ring.
All right, can you guys hear me okay over it?
Let me tell you something, brother. Donald Trump
Turn my volume up
is
a little
the
more.
toughest of them all.
Is it better? Like, can you hear me better?
They've thrown everything at Donald Trump.
All right, I'm going to turn Hulk down a little bit.
The impeachments, the court cases,
I want you guys to be able to hear both.
And he's still standing and
hold on, I can't hear you anymore, honey. What? What'd you say, honey?
Let me just catch up to
you. You know, we never
had
it better than the Trump years. Back then, we had a thriving economy. We had strong borders. We had
I can turn him up a tiny bit more.
We had peace and respect around the world.
I'm going to turn it up to just a tiny bit more. Let me know if this works for everybody.
The border is out of control. The price of food and gas and housing is out of control.
All right. I know there's going to be some people who are not going to be happy about me streaming this. They can go fuck themselves. I'm really tired of this crap. Fucking take your sandy vaginas and go away. Nobody cares anymore. We've had enough of the childish games.
I really love this country.
You can't talk about
and I've lived the American dream. And I want my kids, your kids.
Good. All right, I'm going to grab a drink or something.
What's up, Order of the Black Dragon, brother?
The American dream too.
All right, this way I can hear what's going on. I'm going to get up and get some stuff.
We can save the American dream for everyone. And Donald Trump is the president who will get the job done.
Brother. Come on, ladies, brothers.
All you criminals, all you lowlifes, all you scumbags, all you drug dealers, and all you crooked politicians need to answer one question, brother. What you gonna do when Donald Trump and all the maniacs run wild on you, brother?
Woohoo!
God bless you.
Drink the Kool-Aid, everybody. It tastes good. Yes, I am a Trump supporter, and even I see through the bullshit. You can trust me on that. I am fascinated by psyops. I am fascinated by
Ladies and gentlemen,
linguistics,
please welcome
manipulation.
the President and CEO of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association.
Oh no! Oh
and
no!
President
Yeah, no.
of Samaritan's Purse.
Shut up.
The Reverend Franklin Graham.
The Reverend asshole cocksucker. Shut up. I'm turning this way down now. All right, we don't need to hear this asshole. What's up, everybody? What's going on? If you want to, I will turn this back up if you want to hear this guy. I have no problem with, like, you know, Christians or anything, but I don't really care what Billy Graham's son. When I was a kid, my mother and my grandmother were gigantic Billy Graham fans. Like, they were like, oh, he is almost sinless and all this. Oh my goodness. But all right. So tonight we're going to actually be covering this. I want to at least watch part of it. We'll probably watch the whole thing. I'm very curious to read Trump after the attempt on his life. Yeah, let's hear Thorne for a bit. Yeah, screw that. I'm not trying to be completely like closed-minded to this or anything, but watching this it's an education, okay? You've got to learn to read the psyop propaganda. You got to learn to read the linguistics of all of this. All of this is carefully crafted. Everything you're seeing right now, nothing is left to chance right now. I feel like I'm gonna burp. I hate that. I hate when I'm trying to talk and I suddenly feel like I have to burp. But nothing is being left to chance. Everything you're about to see, everything you've been seeing, that doesn't mean that there, isn't wiggle room for things to happen. But the playbook is, it's pretty well ironed out at this point. It's going to be interesting to see exactly which things happen that have been predicted. But it's pretty clear where it's going to go. Some interesting things could happen tonight. There is chatter that there could be an upset tonight. Like, there could be another attempt made on Trump or something here. That is, if I say possible, I don't mean likely, but it is plausible. There are some weird things going on that that should give everyone a little bit of pause. But just so you know, today is Nelson Mandela International Day. So today is a great day for temporal shifting, manifestation, getting into the timeline of choice. Let's see what he's saying right now. I just want to hear what he's saying. I had to start under Holt. I wish I had caught the T-shirt.
At the United Nations when the first president of history of this country stood there to advocate for religious liberty worldwide.
Yeah, blah, 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 which is good. I got nothing against that. If Christians generally sincerely mean that, then good. We can coexist, no problem. And I do believe that that will be what happens. But I understand some people are scared because you buy into certain propaganda that's, fear-mongering is one of the easiest ways to get the gullible to do anything. It was actually one of the, full disclosure, when I first started becoming interested in conspiracy theories and learning the truth about a lot of things, at first I was wary because, I'm familiar with manipulative tactics and things like that. And I heard a lot of fear-mongering. And when you have a lot of fear-mongering, you have to beware, because politics is basically pure fear-mongering these days. It's whether you agree with your side or not, you have to admit that it's a lot of it's fear-mongering. But what if the fears are justified? And that's where things change. If there is a legitimate problem or potential problem or fear, those things, we have to be aware of it. Yeah, let me see. I'm getting a little distracted because I'm trying to check my chats. So I'm going to have a little trouble keeping the Rumble chat open. I will do my best because I don't know how to pop it out. If I could just pop it out, that would be great. But I appreciate everybody watching me on Rumble. I will do my best to keep up with the chat there. But thank you for joining me on Rumble too. If you aren't, if anything happens to this stream because of censorship or anything of that nature, you will be able to continue watching me on Rumble. So make sure you have my Rumble info. It is in the chat. It is in the, excuse me, in the description of this video. You will see a link where it says Linktree. So if you go to that, click that link, you'll see one that says, that'll take you to my Rumble, and just make sure you're there too. Keep it, keep it available. I don't think I'm going to get censored tonight. I think that I think that some of that may have been walked back a little bit. I'm noticing some interesting, like things. I was able to get some traffic recently, which
It seems like we eased up on that a lot.
they may have eased up on it a tiny bit. So we'll see what happens with that. But so yeah, those of you who joined me early, I think you all know why we're here. We're going to watch this tonight. We're going to analyze this. We're going to look at this from several perspectives. I don't really give a fuck about the football issue politics. That doesn't really faze me. I don't give a fuck about most of that. I believe in human free will, and if people want to live a certain way, so long as they're not imposing that on people, I don't really give a shit. If you want to live conservative, live conservative. If you want to live liberal, live liberal. Just don't impose your shit on everybody else trying to force. I'm really sick and tired of people assuming that having an opinion about these things means that you want it foisted upon other people. And that's really where everybody goes wrong in our society, is trying to force other people to think like you and do like you. Beyond a certain threshold of reasonableness, that is not okay. And that threshold is basically the golden rule: treat others the way you would want to be treated yourself. Do not impose upon the free will of others. It's really that simple. And if you do, then the consequences exist, and hopefully the dildo of consequences will not be lubed for you. As a Luciferian, as a non-dual mystic, what humanity calls free will, I believe, is a misunderstanding, but it is a reality that we are all ultimately freer than anything you can imagine. So trying to limit us like that is anathema to everything I stand for. All right. Oh, good. Yep. All right. Let's tune in for this. See what... All right, what do you guys think of his kids? I want your honest opinions in the chat. Do not hold back if you don't like him.
Good evening, America. Eight years ago, my father sat our family down. He spoke of a nation in decline, of dreams slipping away, of a future endangered by failed leadership and broken promises. It was in that moment I knew my father had made a decision that would forever change our lives.
All right, you guys have to understand this has been going on a lot longer.
To step into the arena, to fight for the soul of America. He decided
There's a reason he was bringing up
of
Obama's birth certificate, 9/11
empire,
stuff 10, 20 years ago.
to leave behind everything he had ever built, to answer the call to serve our nation. Unlike his predecessor, it was not a decision born out of necessity. Unlike the current
Yes,
president,
be great anyway. It's Eric.
it was not a decision
I like
that
Eric a
would
little
enrich
better
his
than Don.
family.
Don Jr.
Rather, it was a decision made out of love for this country and a deep
Dude,
concern
Barron looks like a fucking Anunnaki.
for America's
Come on,
future.
tell me I'm wrong. All right, maybe not Anunnaki. Yeah, maybe an Anunnaki. Yeah, he looks it, tall as hell.
My father was clear it would not be easy, that there would be a huge price to pay, and that the attacks would be vicious. Looking back, that was an understatement. The made-up Russia hoax, the sham impeachments,
All right,
the
let
efforts
me
to
jump
destroy an unbelievable company, a company that I run
If you
today.
guys don't mind.
The
So the Russia hoax is actually still based on a reality. The reality is Russia is in on the operation 100%. Look up your Edgar Cayce. Edgar Cayce made it clear that Russia would be the hope of mankind. And he was talking about this era because Russia did not submit to the Khazarian bankster regime and did not go along with it. So the fundamental truth is whether you like Russia or not, or agree with their culture or not, or any of that stuff, they are an integral part of this operation, I believe. If you look at like Russia Today, if you look at all these things, they have been exposing the New World Order deep state stuff for a long time. And of course, you could argue it's in their interest to do so, to screw with us. I'm not saying they're necessarily good guys or heroes, but the future history will probably show that Russia was on the right side of history with, you know, people in the United States. And that is a fact. Okay. It has been apparent from day one. They have had a soft spot for Trump. They are obviously, you know, that's why the left, that's why the media made such a big stink about him being a Russian asset, because there are links to Russia. It's please don't be so naive you don't believe that that's true.
Crossroads. In 2016, many people began to doubt the promise of America. Our economy was struggling, jobs were scarce, our standing on the world stage was weak at best. Veterans were forgotten, our military was in shambles, our educational system was broken, ranked 30th in the world. He could no longer tolerate an inept administration
Alpha,
that
there's
handed
no such thing as
$150
elections.
billion
There hasn't been
to
elections
Iran,
in 50
a
years.
country that chants death
Even when
to
Trump
America,
won the first time, that wasn't
or witness the continued attacks
just an election.
on our Constitution and our religious liberty,
It's time
or
people
see
grow up
the
and wake up.
disrespect
It's
shown
time
to our
people
unbelievable
realize
law
what's
enforcement
really going on.
officers who are being disarmed, defunded, and persecuted each and every day. He could
What's
no
up,
longer stand
Julie?
to see
10
words like
bucks.
Christmas
All right,
stripped
hold
from
up.
public use.
Ding, ding,
Or-
ding. Julie, it's been a minute. It's good to see you, girl. I'm glad to see you. I hope all is well. Thank you so much for that $10 tip. We're going to be covering this tonight, and I will be covering it from the perspective of me and whatever that means to you guys. So hopefully you guys find it interesting, if nothing else. I'm expecting to get a fuck ton of hate for doing this. I expect to have some people tuning out. I really don't fucking care. This is historical. This is the biggest shit that you're going to live through, at least your whole life so far. What's about to happen in this world is going to make 9/11 look like a tiny little fucking nursery rhyme. It's going to be fucking nothing. So I hope you guys, if you're with me here and you're not running away going, oh, he's talking about this shit, you're on a cutting edge of things, I hate to tell you. So I'm not saying that because I'm tooting my own horn. A lot of people want to run from this, and I don't think you should. All right, so thank you, Julie. Let me go back. What's up, Twisted Jack?
American dream. Under my father's leadership, the economy climbed to record heights. Jobs were created at an unthinkable pace.
Propaganda
Unemployment
truth, but
reached
propaganda
historic
nonetheless.
lows across all demographics. Wage growth soared. He cut taxes for hardworking
Normies
families
do not
and businesses. He
understand that
slashed
our
regulations.
Trump
We
didn't
saw the
actually
greatest
improve
401k
anything. He just took
increase in American
the
history.
brakes off of it. He took the corruption out at certain levels. That's all he did. There's no like.
People
I'm not
bought
saying
their
he didn't
first
do
homes
more.
in an
What I'm trying to say
environment
is
that saw 2 to
the
3%
reality is
interest
we would have
rates.
been booming
They
if not for the
started their
bullshit they were doing.
families. My
The
father
great
made the
sucking
United
sound.
States energy independent with
Ross
the lowest
Perot
gas
brought
prices
up.
in decades. My father made the United States safe. Our borders
Alpha,
were
you would be
closed. There was
completely
peace
right
in
if
the
it was
Middle
about an
East.
election.
Soleimani,
There is an
al-Baghdadi, the
operation going
terrorists
on.
were dead.
Behind the scenes, the powers that be are already done. So
My
you're
father
watching
made
a
the
show.
United States
You are
respected
literally
again.
watching.
With the courage
You're
to walk
watching
into countries
a
like
movie.
North Korea, with
Let
the
me turn him
courage
down.
to impose tariffs on China.
This is going to be hard for people because they may not make this obvious, and they may never really come clean on this. But behind the scenes, it's been an operation. They've been cleaning these people out, and they're going to run this movie as long as it takes to get the majority of people to wake up enough so that when they have to openly do what they've already done behind the scenes, people will accept it. If you think that if you think that there's organic politics going on, you're missing everything. They're already dead. Half of these people are Biden's dead, probably. That's not Biden. It hasn't been Biden for a long time. There is no political solution. There hasn't been a political solution for a very long time. Trump getting into the presidency, let me put it this way. Our system of checks and balances would prevent Trump from doing anything that would scare any Democrat that's afraid right now. They're all saying he's going to become a dictator. There is no legal path to him being a dictator unless the other side legitimately did what we're accusing them of. If they did, at that point, the gloves can come off, martial law can be openly extended, and I say extended for a reason, not enacted, to the general populace. You will see the cleanup. If he gets in, I don't know how quickly it will happen. It may take a while. It may be a year. It may be 2. People have to understand this is not a quick thing. It may be quick, but the quicker they go, the more damage it's going to do, the more civil war you're going to potentially have. You need to walk the population through propaganda, through revelation, through all this stuff. Bit by bit, they are waking up the normies. Every day, people are either realizing what's going on, not the operation, they're realizing the cabal corruption. Remember, there's different layers to reality. I often say, like, there's front page reality, then there's conspiracy theory reality, then there's Q-tard reality. There's so many different layers of truths out there, and you've got to have your eyes have to be open wide and your head has to be on a swivel to catch even a fraction of it. And the little bit that I have been able to confirm and see very clearly, there's no fear in my heart. This is a done deal. You're watching a show, you're watching a psyop that is massive. It's unprecedented. There's nothing that has ever been like this before in recorded human history, as far as we know. And what you're going to see at the end of all of this, in the end, you're eventually going to see the entire cabal come down, get exposed, and some sanitized version of the truth will be given to the populace to justify it all. And it won't be complete, but it'll be enough. Then we slow walk the human population of this planet for a generation or 2 until they're ready for the rest, maybe a little longer. So let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to shut up for a minute. Sorry if you guys wanted to hear what Eric had to say. I'll be more quiet, hopefully, for Trump. But
before you with the most votes of any Republican candidate in the history of our nation. He has defied the predictions of every political pundit. He fills stadiums across our country. He energizes Americans to the issues facing this nation and does so with unvarnished honesty. He is not a threat to democracy. He is a threat to those who despise our republic, many whom are bought and sold, bribed and coerced, people who have never signed the front of a check.
Julian Assange
and who have
said,
been
when the
dependent
truth
on
comes out,
government their
98%
entire
of
adult
Washington
lives.
will fall. The truth is going to come out. So just hold on. A lot of people have been endorsing, supporting
Today, as it was in 2016,
monsters,
America's at that
and they don't even
crossroads
know
again.
it. And it's going to break them.
Energy prices are soaring.
All of your
Interest rates are
left-wing
crippling.
friends that are
Everything
screaming that you're a
is
racist Nazi,
unaffordable. The
when
US
they
dollar
find
has
out
been
the kinds of
diminished.
things they were
Inflation has made
endorsing
it
and supporting.
impossible for Americans to live, to
Once
save
the
for their
media
future.
completely switches, you'll
Our
see.
infrastructure is crumbling. Our border
The
is out
gullible
of
fools
control.
will wake up.
Millions are dead and displaced in Russia and Ukraine, a war that has no end and a war that we are funding. The Middle East has become a hornet's nest. Our greatest ally, Israel.
Why would
totally
Putin
under
agree
siege.
to Trump
Fentanyl
ending the
is
war
killing our youth
without
and
even
destroying families,
did you guys
while
hear
the current
that? Why would
administration
Putin already
stands idly
agree
by,
that whatever
hoping
Trump,
their inaction will
he's
import
gonna
illegal
cooperate
votes.
with Trump? Why would he already
Crime
say that?
terrorizes our cities and our suburbs as
That's
far
right. It's no
left
coincidence.
policies
That's right.
handcuff
B grade.
police.
B grade always says, and
Male
no, let me
athletes,
turn it off.
guys
Oh,
my
if you can-
height, 6 foot.
Don't really care. Shut up. He's talking about like trans people in sports, which is a real issue. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of friends that are trans, and they agree. Like the trans should be its own division. If anything, they shouldn't be with. It has nothing to do with that other crap, and I agree with that. They should have their own division. I'd watch it. Some of that would be dope as hell. Queen Homunculus Project 2025 has nothing to do with Trump. This is a Google. No offense, by the way. I love you, Queen, but just hear me out, okay? Project 2025 has almost nothing to do with Trump. It is the Heritage Foundation, which is a controlled op organization. There's a reason the Democrats push this narrative that Trump is 2020, 25, whatever, because they knew it would smear him for independence. That's the only reason. His more conservative base doesn't care. They're sheeple too. Okay. All these people you see with the stupid thing on their ear trying to be like, It's no different, guys. They're no different than the woke morons on the other side. You have to understand, politics is about the sheeple, but people like us, the sages who can see, you better be paying attention to the politics too, because if you're not, you're missing what's about to kill you or survive. So do not worry too much, but here's the thing you should worry about. I am also pro-choice in the legal sense up to a certain point. Personally, I am not a fan of abortion, at least not after a certain, like an even more restrictive point. But I don't think the laws should reflect what I think. I think they should reflect what is pragmatic and we can all agree upon, which is once a child reaches a certain age in the womb, it's no longer just a clump of cells. It's got some rights, and we have to be a little bit more sensitive to that. But that doesn't mean we take it away from everybody. You can't just say, no, we can't do it. I wouldn't advocate for that ever unless some truth came out that proved that it's literally murder of some kind. I don't believe that. I think up to a point, there's no spirit in that clump of cells. You know, there's no personified spirit. It's not a person yet. It is just another organ of the mother. And at that point, there's some room. But what you should be worried about is this is a states' rights issue. It's always supposed to have been a states' rights issue. And if it remains a states' rights issue, it's going to depend on the state you're living in. If you're living in a really red, conservative, Bible thump area, you have reason to be afraid of what they're going to do to the abortion laws. However, in my opinion, they should have federalized the abortion laws with a reasonable, like what Europe has, 10, 15 weeks, something like that. And then, of course, harm or concern for the mother or the child or whatever, that is extenuating circumstances to extend that. If it turns out the child is not viable and the mother's going to die, of course, you know, rape, incest, all that kind of stuff. Totally understandable. But that's just my opinion, which is why I don't impose it upon other people. I think that it should be legal. Whether I think it's right or wrong, I don't have all the answers to that stuff. I try to be as reasonable as I can. Abortion is not a big deal to me so long as it's available reasonably and safe to women who need it, because it is a right, you know, in my opinion. It is a right, but I'm a little bit more conservative on at what point it's okay to do the deed, you know, but that's my personal view, and I'm not the mother. So there's a limit to what I get to say at the same time. But as a father, I think a father should have at least the ability to have an opinion without getting shit on, right? You know, in fact, I think some people are not going to like this. If women have the right to get an abortion, I personally believe that men, the father, should have the right to legally abort their responsibility to the child if they do so within a certain time frame. A lot of women don't like hearing that. A lot of men don't like hearing that. But if a woman has the right to choose whether her body is enslaved to this fetus, a man has a right to choose whether he's enslaved to an orgasm, okay? If it's true for one, it's true for both. Just because they had sex doesn't mean either person should be a slave to anything. And that's something that we as a species need to grow out of. We need to grow out of this idea that if two people have sex, the man has less rights than woman because he can't walk from that without obligation. That's not fair. That's an old-fashioned patriarchal idea that the man must provide. Listen to me, feminists out there who are listening to me go, how dare you, Thorne? You're making it easier for men to get away with. Listen to me. That whole idea that women should be taken care of by the father is literally just making the patriarchy bullshit continue. You're literally saying you need men. Now, I don't have a problem with the idea of the old-fashioned nuclear families, men with tradcon families, all that kind of shit. Don't care. Live that fucking life. If you want to be a homemaker wife, if you want to be a single, I think that's more natural to our biology. I do. I genuinely do believe, and that doesn't mean we should or have to. I'm saying it is probably the better, more viable way to do things. It would save a whole lot of lawsuits. But to force people is also wrong. So all I'm saying is encouraging people to have traditional families where you have one person's the breadwinner, I don't care who it is. One person is the nurturer, I don't care who that is. If you can restore that balance to the way it used to be, which was a more biologically natural order kind of thing, just make it so it's not demonized. That's all I'm saying. Just encourage people to be that way again. You will see society shift so fast back towards something stable and wholesome again. it'll make your head spin, and you'll still potentially be able to be a dirty bastard like us because we've gone through, I'm being jokey here. You'll still be able to be the kind of person you want to be. No, you're fine, Christian. I started early. What's up, C? I started a little bit early because I've decided I'm going to cover this tonight, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to have fun with all of this. And I'm going to tell you guys what I think about whatever issue you guys want. I really don't give a fuck. I am tired of walking on eggshells because there's a bunch of fucking, you know, call them pussies. Call them where the fuck you want. I'm really tired of walking on eggshells for these people. And you know what, Thorne? I had somebody tell me not too long ago that I was risking or sacrificing my entire left-hand path place in the community. Fuck you. Half the people in the community think like I do. Don't you know that? These people are like, you're going to lose all your fame. We're going to get you. We're going to curse you. Bitch, I'm still here. Fuck you. Okay? These people are demented, they're sick, and they're going to go down. And when they do, people like me will be probably the only ones standing at the end of this, because there's only some of us have been brave enough to say these things and talk about these things and not be afraid to support who we want to support. You know, these other people have no problem condemning you, attacking you, demonizing, vilifying, trolling you, shitting on you for admitting who you like in this situation. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them all. Don't care. All right, let's hear them out. Thorne's gonna lose his business. I've already lost my business. Haven't you seen my video about the censorship? Thorne, you're gonna lose your popularity in censorship because you support Trump. Have you seen my book sales that I showed you guys? They put me in the fucking ground like they did EA, just differently.
You are strong.
They censored me just less obviously.
You are unapologetic.
And they made it impossible for me to earn a living off of my practice.
Your backbone is unbreakable.
Fuck it. I'm going to be this guy.
Your conviction to fight for what is right and against all that is wrong is truly next level.
You're welcome, Eric. You're welcome. I really hope that you have a plan to fucking make this up to some of us, by the way. I really hope that there's a fucking... a payday at the end of this.
Strength is you stood up, you wiped the blood off your face, and you put your fist in the air.
Oh, he's talking about his dad. Okay.
In a moment that will be remembered as one of the most courageous acts in the history of American politics. You shouted.
I like people say, "There's no way this could be staged." Infinite resources of a government. Of course, there's ways. People don't want to hear that though. That's a dangerous fact.
I'm honored to be your son. I'm honored to speak to our great nation tonight. You are a true leader. You epitomize strength. Our country loves you. Our country appreciates you. Our country misses you. And on November 5th, our country will re-elect you as the 47th President of the United States of America.
Thorne, Antifa's gonna come after you. Motherfucker, I've been training to fight zombies my whole life. Whether they wear black or not. I blend in. I wear black anyway. I could probably hide among them. They wouldn't even know. Oh no, I look a little too buff. I'd probably be spotted because I'm a little too testosterone-y. That is a good point. Be great. I didn't notice that. Are you sure she's not, at least not with him? I'll have to take a look. That is very weird. She might show up for a speech though. Maybe she's coming up next. Well, let me you... What's that, honey?
There were a lot of people that were saying that in their live chat earlier.
That it's weird she wasn't there?
Yeah.
See, that's why you should be on the stream with me, so you could point out the dumb shit I'm missing. You could watch the other tabs. Dude, Hulk Hogan was hilarious. That was fucking hilarious when he fucking tore his shirt and yeah, come on, little Hulksters. Oh my goodness. So I just want to remind everybody watching on YouTube, please make sure that you are also that you're aware of my Rumble channel, because there is a chance that, although I do believe the censorship is still going on, I do believe it is less than it was, believe it or not. I don't think they're going to be shutting us down for this. But if they do, I am on Rumble, and this should be... Actually, that's not it. That's the studio screen. Give me 1 second. easiest way to get the link. But yeah, that was fucking hilarious. Yeah, it's called Told You So 2 on my Rumble stream. So, hopefully this doesn't just start playing. Of course it does. Let me get the link. So I don't anticipate that I'm going to get kicked off, but just in case that is in the cards, here is the link to, let me just make sure this should be it. This should be the same stream. It's this is just a backup stream at this point because not really anybody's watching me on Rumble anymore. I had too many fuck ups on Rumble, so I think people are like, yeah, I'm not going to watch it on Rumble. What's up, Patchy? It's been a minute. What's up, brother? We are going to talk about this shit. Got to be careful with the music playing. Don't want to get any content strikes. This is fair use as far as I am concerned. I'm commenting on one of the most important fucking things that you're going to be watching in a while. Probably going to be some boring ass fucking shit. We'll see. If it turns out to be boring, I'll turn it off. If it's just grandstanding, I'll turn it off. But so while we are waiting, let's do a fun little drinking or smoking game. Every time Trump or someone brings up the fact that he was shot, once Trump gets on, you got to do a shot. Like anytime he's like, you know, honestly, if you were doing that so far, you'd probably have more alcohol than blood right now. So yeah, be great. Yeah, there was somebody pointing out that if you look in the audience, there's people with bandages on their ears. Like, dude, like, I am a fan of Trump, and this is so cringe, dude. This is what America is. You guys don't understand. You think you represent all the people in this country? No, these people are way more like everybody else. When you go driving through middle America, these are the people we're talking about. When I go to the corner store and like there's some dude standing online, these are the people. They're sheep, okay? They don't. These are the swine that people don't want to cast their pearls in front of because they're good people. They're not bad people, but they are engineered to be docile slaves. They just go with what people tell them. And they like to worship figureheads and heroes. They are, humanity has been conditioned to be a slave species. It's that simple. And those of us who don't have that issue come from bloodlines that were probably part of a different group of people that were probably put in charge of things. And that's unfortunate because that led to a lot of racism in the past. That's probably where it comes from. But the fact is, look around you. Most people, whether they've been conditioned into it or not, the fact that they're conditionable, there she is, be great. There she is, let's put her on. The Draconian Queen or Pleiadian herself, there are some debates as to which. I think Alpha says that she's a Draconian. Alpha, who do you think Melania is? Somebody I know online was telling me. She's probably just some Russian chick, but if we were having like our far out, conspiracy fantasies, do you guys think she's actually Trump's handler? Have you guys ever noticed that women are often the handlers for the politicians? Have you ever noticed this? At least the liaison, the partner. What's up, Nanerta? Yeah, we're watching the show, baby. Nanerta, I think it was you. What do you think? I think you said that she's a Draconian, not a Pleiadian. What do you think? Or do you think she's just a human? They're all dolls, people. You guys gotta understand, they're all dolls. They are all dolls. She could be, well, being from Russia, she would have, potentially. I forget what her... Maria Orsic, yeah, I've heard that. Or one of them. I've heard that.
Is uniquely American.
Oh, come on, Lady Brother.
Freedoms we all cherish.
We're talking about Lady Brother.
Life dedicated to dreaming big. A story about giving back to the people in his beloved city. But most of all, This
I think
is
you
a
guys could
story
be
about
right. I'm
putting
not
his
saying you're right or
country
wrong.
first, and it's a story best
I only
told
speak about
in
what I can,
pictures.
you know, confirm or
Young
believe.
and confident, Donald Trump wasn't afraid to think big. And
You mean the
build
Templars? I
even
mean, shut
bigger.
up, shut up.
And he left his mark on the New York skyline.
Jedi Order
that greeted
returns.
visitors
Return of the
from
Jedi.
around the world. But he wasn't just an American entrepreneur. He became a folk hero. Celebrities and sports stars wanted to be seen with him. Politicians sought his approval. And New Yorkers just
I like that
loved it.
outfit. Yeah, she's probably
And
human, but
he
let's just have
loved
fun
them back.
pretending she's
And
draconian.
he
That's fair.
gave back.
What's up, Kelly
Just one
Meadows? How
example.
you doing, sweetie?
Saving
Good to see
the
you.
woman's skating rink.
Good to have you. I hope you don't mind. We're going to be
Women's
doing
skating
politics
rink in
tonight. I
Central
hope you don't
Park
mind.
is open again. The city
This isn't
spent nearly
politics,
6
this is
years
history.
and $12 million
But
trying to fix
I really
it.
don't care what people
And then
think.
to the rescue, developer Donald Trump. As Tracy Egan tells us now, he accomplished in 3.5 months what the city couldn't do in 6 years.
Donald, you performed a great public service.
We're gonna.
There was no denying that Donald
I'm-
Trump was the toast of the town.
The only reason why I
But he
leave it
was
on is because
also
Hulk
something
Hogan's
even
like doing
more
some of the
important,
narration. It's fucking
a
hilarious.
patriotic American. And like many others, he was becoming
Oh,
increasingly
jeez.
troubled by the direction of our country.
Because I really am tired of seeing what's happening.
Yeah,
with
you're
this
right,
country,
Inerta, you're not
how we're-
wrong.
How we're really making other
not
people
wrong.
live like kings, and we're not.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in
This
my
is-
life. And,
this is
and
one
if
of
I
the-
did
I'll wait
decide
for him
to
to
do it,
shut up.
I
I
think
have
I'd
something
be
to say.
inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off.
But who would ever run for president and leave such a glamorous life?
I love the
Appearances
fucking
in
movie
movies,
announcer voice. It's so
best-selling books,
fucking 90s.
widely
Oh my
popular
god.
TV show.
In a world, Donald Trump stood
But
up.
for Donald
Oh my
J.
god.
Trump, the calling to save his country was even stronger. The mission,
All right, thank you, Kelly.
more
Glad you're here.
important.
Really
The
good to see
number
you.
of Americans being
We're
left
gonna have fun
behind,
tonight.
too
No angry
large.
rants unless
And
something
so,
happens.
In Donald Trump fashion, he announced he was running for president, in it to win.
The
And
moment he came down that
he
escalator,
did.
man. The day before that, they changed the fucking continuity of government law war manual. Jesus Christ, if you guys only knew.
From his first day in office, the Washington politicians learned something about President Trump. He's not afraid to fight for what
Dude,
he
they're doing
believes
member
in.
berries. This is all member
call
berries
that
tonight.
having
Just
the
I hope you're
courage
hungry.
of
It's
your
all member
convictions.
berries.
First up, the Trump tax cuts. Largest in America's
All right,
history.
I got it.
And
Okay, look, don't get me wrong. I'm for all this, but I can't swallow I can't swallow it. I just can't. I hate this shit. All right. And I'm aware of it all. So let me address something somebody said that's actually really kind of interesting. Is that, have you noticed in the New Age universe about star seeds and aliens and stuff, the Dracos are the worst. They're the worst of the worst of the worst. We all know that MK Ultra and all this crap, we call it MK Ultra. I don't know what it's called these days, but they're giant psyop operations. They're Mockingbird media. They're all of that shit. They make it out to be as if Draconians are just pure evil, aligned evil. There is no hope. And the handful that aren't evil, we don't talk about them. The fact of the matter is, if things are what some of us feel, know, or have researched to believe, it's never black and white like that. The Draconians, if they are real, which whatever they are, our history's full of this stuff. I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. But if they are real, there's a polarity there. Of course, there are Draconians that are good, and there are probably a lot that are good. In fact, it's probably just like anything. There are factions out there. So that's a thing that is a little concerning, is the demonization of all the Draconians, reptilians, all that stuff. I don't believe that. I think that there are, if they exist the way we think they do, and some of you guys might even be able to confirm it, maybe you've experienced them, whatever they are, I am pretty comfortable that if they exist, it's not that simple. In fact, I think, and this is just my suspicion, that a lot of what we're going through is the fact that the Earth was almost like Australia, where I think it was like a penal colony for a while. That's the vibe I get, is that certain beings were exiled here because of whatever reason. they're just like robber barons running this fucking world for the last couple hundred years or something, couple thousand years. But I don't know. That's just, this has not been my forte. Like, my forte has been mysticism. My forte has been when I channeled stuff. I don't know what the whole deal is now. I really don't. But I listen to you guys, you know, like Alpha and Inerta and some of you. I listen to you guys. Listen to what you tell me. And it doesn't sound wrong. It feels there's a lot of truth in there. So, but here's the thing, okay? Ultimately, we're talking about cargo cults. We don't know what the reality really is. We know what we think it is based on what comes to us from antiquity or your connections with whatever your astral spiritual contacts are. You get information from that, and that's your truth, and I'm not going to tell you it's right or wrong because we don't know. I don't know. But fundamentally, we are talking about cargo cult stuff. When you're talking about Sumer, when you're talking about the Egyptians, you're talking about these different groups of people. We're ultimately talking about cargo cult stuff. That doesn't mean there isn't truth in it. My understanding of cargo cults is a lot of times what happens is, oh, hell no, I'm not listening to this. My understanding of cargo cults is that a lot of the times the culture that ends up with a cargo cult in it, they take their spirituality and infuse it with that cargo cult experience. You know, they use that cargo cult experience as a way to be a new carrier, like a carrier oil for like herbs and shit, as a new carrier for their message. Because that's what happened in our ancient history. The mythology carried the mysticism. And you have to understand, like, whoever these beings were in ancient antiquity, the mythologies about them, like, today we know them better as Zeus and, you know, Hermes and all that. But the ancients would have called them Enki and Anu and all of that stuff. And when you're and Enlil and Marduk and Tiamat, they would have called them by those names. The point is that they culturally, you know, the mythologies adjusted over time. You're right. Just like the legend of George Washington is nothing like what George Washington was really like. If you really look into it, George Washington, he was a brutal motherfucker. Okay. When you look at what he did, you know, during the French and all that kind of stuff, he wasn't like, no, that motherfucker would scalp you. Okay. He was no joke. Right. This is a dude who literally would cross the Potomac with shit flowing down his legs to murder you when you're asleep on fucking Christmas morning. Okay. These were not like, I cannot tell a lie, chop down a cherry tree, you know, fucking apple pie and green hand, you know, fuck that. No, these are caricatures, archetypal caricatures that have been imposed upon ancient figures who probably did exemplify to some degree that archetype. That's probably where some of this comes from. So it's not that it's not true. It's just, you've got to take your religiosity, which has been instilled into you from your Christian upbringing, because most of you are Christian. Most of you guys were Christian growing up. And so when you started learning the truth about mysticism, about ancient stuff, a piece of that habit is still in you that you might not realize is there. You want it to be theistically true. And that's because, remember what I told you, you are a slave species. Part of your DNA was most likely engineered so that when you see somebody up on a pedestal, you treat them as such. You treat them as a deity, whether you know it consciously or not. And some people, however, see them as ancestors or as guides. That's a different mentality entirely. Those people's eyes are more open. They're less likely to be led. We can make mistakes and sound like lunatics. I could be wrong about everything I'm saying, but I'm aware of that. How many of the people that you listen to on the internet telling you what's going on, Trump's going to be a dictator, Trump's going to save us all, they're just parroting. They don't think. They don't have any real, they don't have their own perspective, because they're biologically, their DNA, written into their DNA of this avatar body, because they're not the body. This avatar body is a filter, and it is filtering information in such a way that makes them more susceptible to what? Cult of personality. Why do you think I have any following at all, despite being a dick to half the people who listen to me and call you stupid all day long? Because some of us got a little bit of that, have a little bit of that DNA of the ones who were telling you, like, call them the overseers. We have a little piece of that left. I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's a terrible thing in a way, but some of us are not so easily brainwashed. Some of us are more likely to just go, that doesn't make sense. You're lying to me. Why? Because some people don't have that follower gene, that beta gene, that slave gene, right? And you can tell the difference. We don't kneel, we don't surrender, and if we do, it's to be deceptive so we can pull a shiv out of our boot while we're kneeling down. It's not the same mentality. It's not because I was raised to be a hard ass. I'm a very sensitive guy. If you knew me as a kid, my inner self is still like that. I still care. I'm not a cold, dead motherfucker. I still care. Okay? But I see. Do you guys see? Can you guys see? Can you guys see how everybody in that audience, whether you like Trump or agree with him or not, they're all slave species, except the ones that are the brain bugs leading shit. But the regular rank and file people, they have no idea what's going on. They have no idea what's at stake. They think they do. They know the propaganda that they're hearing. That is the front page version of the truth right now. The front page version of the truth is the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans, the establishment, the uniparty. They are a threat to not just America, but all of human civilization. But they can't say certain things because people have been conditioned where when they hear that, like, do you think this guy right here who's singing for Trump, looks like a genuine kind soul, right? Look at that lady bopping. Do you think that if you stood up and said, there's a fucking war in the asteroid, if you told them what's really going on, you think they believe you? They would laugh in your face. They'd say, Jesus Christ rebuke you. Jesus Christ rebuke you. They're slaves. They are slaves. And part of us, part of why we're here, is to free these people, believe it or not. All right, let's listen to this dude. This should be good. Fucking Dana White. This should be good. Of course it was a psyop, but it was a white hat psyop, Queen Homunculus. I believe it was. It's coming true. Everything that they said is coming true. It's just happening in a way that
I got a call from President Trump
plausible deniability.
asking me if I'd be willing to speak tonight. As usual, there was no pressure, no demands. He asked me as a friend, and of course I said yes. Then, after I accepted his offer, he sent me a text message, and I just want to read to you a little.
Do you guys have
piece
any
of
idea
what
how many
President
people
Trump
have been
wrote
replaced? If you pay
Dana,
close enough attention, you can spot them.
I'm so honored that you will be doing the introduction at the National Republican Convention. Think of it as the
And they
biggest
want you to
fight
know
you've ever
this.
had.
That's why that whole thing
A
about the
fight for our
masks has been
country
just
and even the
circulating and
world.
going viral.
I only wish you didn't have to interrupt
Because they
your
want
family
the people
trip,
who are not
but I
completely
hope they
stupid
understand
to be
they
ready
love
to
you
help people
and they
see
know
this.
how
I hope you can
important
hear me,
this
by the way.
is.
What's up,
Now
Area
think
Trance?
about
What's going on,
this.
brother?
This man's running for president of the United States. He's fighting for the future of this country, and he's concerned about interrupting my family trip.
Come on, brother.
That's the President Trump that I
Both,
know.
Queen. Yep.
A man
Body doubles
who
and
truly
masks.
cares about people.
AI shit. I think they got Oprah and replaced her with
The mainstream media likes to push the narrative that he doesn't care about
I forget if it was Diamond or Silk from Diamond and Silk.
Absolutely know that's not the
No,
truth,
I'm fucking
because I've
serious.
been
I
friends
just
with
said
this
that.
guy for
She didn't. I don't
25
think she died. I
years.
think they're using her as a double.
And
They're
for
all
the people
fucking
who
central
know
casting.
me, they'll know this is true. I just want to make something very clear. Nobody in the Trump campaign has ever told me what to say. Nobody tells me what to say, and I'm nobody's puppet. And I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. And I know President Trump. I know President Trump is a fighter.
You guys have to understand, they are giving you
saying
back
this
your
since
heroes that the
2015.
globalists
Look
took
at
from
what's
you.
happened over the last 10 years.
You have to
We
understand
all
part of this
seen it
operation
with
is to
our
give you
own
new
eyes.
heroes that they
I'm in the
corrupted
tough
so
guy
much.
business, and this
You're
man
going to
is
need
the
heroes when
toughest,
this is over.
most
You're going to need
resilient
people to
human
have
being
faith in.
that I've
And
ever
unfortunately,
met in my
half of them
life.
are just still shitbags that are just being paid. That's the part you don't know. Some of these people, they are just mercenaries, like always. They're just not as dirty as the others.
This guy never, ever gives up. So what's at stake here? The answer is in President Trump's text, and I quote, "A fight for our country." I know why he's running for president again.
That's right, Area
Why
Trance.
else
So
would he
let's
put
not bring
himself
up that.
through everything he's dealt with
I
just
have to be
get
careful
back
on
here?
YouTube
We
talking
all
about
know
that.
he doesn't need this. This guy's got a great life.
Just a reminder, I'm also streaming this on Rumble, and I will be checking the comments occasionally. If my wife is listening, if she could just occasionally check the comments there too to let me know if I miss anything.
His life on the line for something bigger than himself, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
What's that, Ninurta? What you referencing there? You bring it up the longest for her 6 months.
I know he wants what's best for the American people, all American people.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about. Al, I'm sorry. You're talking about Atropa. I was like, sorry, one track mind. Ninurta, I'm so sending you guys as much. I swear. I hope. I know it's gonna work out. I just, man, I can't imagine. It's gotta suck. It's gotta fucking suck. I hope when we're all on the other side of this someday, we can all meet, have a fucking party at a big barbecue, and just hug and just fucking be happy.
And if you're buried in government red tape, how will you ever start your own business? If you're struggling to pay your bills, how can you ever afford to start a family? And if you don't feel safe in your own town, why would you ever
Correct,
buy a
Alpha.
house?
Some people say Biden was done in about 2017.
President Trump is fighting to save
Some
the American
2018,
dream,
but I
and
believe
that's what's
it
at stake in
myself.
this election.
Tucker just earlier during this RNC convention literally just spilled the beans and said you could put a dead man as president, a dummy, a puppet.
President Trump is a proven leader, a fearless
It's all
leader,
comms, guys.
and
It's
this
all
country
comms.
was in a much better place when he was in the Oval Office. In my mind,
Remember, this is a show for the normies. Don't expect them to be like, they're all draconians. This is a show for the normies.
I know I'm going to choose strength and security. I know I'm going to choose opportunity and prosperity. I know I'm going to choose real American leadership and a real American badass.
Atropa is fucking awesome, Alpha, and so are you. In fact, I'm going to shut him up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I want you guys to know, if you're here during this stream right now, you're not running away and you're saluting the things that we're talking about. I fucking love all of you. You guys are fucking top shelf. You are the cream of the crop. It's almost like in the Bible when like they were trying to get the right warriors for the job, and they did like all these things to like thin the herd till they just had a really small number to go fight. It's a very similar thing. You guys don't realize I have been slowly walking my language and my message in this direction for the last 4 years, trying to slowly and gradually and gently weed out the assholes so that I am left with a core group of good people that are not assholes. You're not dicks. You're not racist. You're not stupid, hardcore conservatives. You're not stupid, woke morons. You're open-minded. You're brave. You're strong. You're smart. You're waking the fuck up, and you're not going to stand for the fucking cabal's bullshit anymore. And some of you have made such fucking transformations. Some of you guys have flipped so hard. I can't take any credit for this. I am proud of you guys for waking the hell up, turning to the right side of history, and I swear to God, it has nothing to do with Trump. My support of Trump is conditional. The minute I feel like he's gone off the other way, you will see me snap so fast it's not even funny. This is not about a man. This is about getting us out from under the cabal. And the cabal is done. So this is not a drill. This is done. All right? So for those of you who are here, those of you who are saluting this, those of you who understand, those of you who agree with the at least the fundamental principle of what we're talking about, you're not getting sucked into the propaganda, you're ignoring the front page, you're listening to your heart, to your intuition, and you're standing up. You guys take a bow, because when this is over, you're the only ones who got it. And if we are wrong, if we're completely wrong, hold your head up high, because you still were fighting for the right principles. You weren't fighting for the stupid propaganda. You were fighting for freedom. You were fighting for human integrity, the things that they took from us and made us into degenerate pieces of dumb shit. You're fighting to go back to the ascension path. That's what we're doing. Okay? Some of us were called to do this and didn't even... Oh, shutting up. Aww. Come on, everybody, get ready to cry. How many of you guys remember during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial when the fucking judge's phone went off playing this song? Did you guys know at that moment Kyle was a free man? I did. That's right, Evan. you do find out at the top of the pyramid, it's all you. Everything is you, and you is everything. We're all the same you. We're all the same self, brother. We're all the same self. The selfless self, the numberless self, the self in all things. That's what you are. You know, I don't know much about the Tartaria conspiracy theory. I'll have to look into that one. At least I'm honest. Some people try to tell you like some shit. I don't know enough. There are things I'm learning too, Jose. Like my forte's been mysticism, learning through metaphor, learning through symbolism, learning to trust my intuition. And most of my conspiracy theory knowledge is more mundane. It's more of the FEMA camp variety, less of the, you know, reptilian stuff. That's something I have. A lot of you guys know a lot more about that than I do. A lot more. A fuck ton more. I want to see his ear. Take the Band-Aid off. I want to make sure it's real. Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet, Connor. All right, I will be more quiet now, but I will interject when necessary. Remember, anytime he brings up that he got shot, take a drink. So for those of you that are joining us now, tonight we will be covering this. I apologize if this ain't your thing.
Thank you very, very much. Wow.
But it's a done deal.
And thank you, Dana. Thank you, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob. And thank you, Lee, right from the beginning. Thank you very much. What a talent. What a beautiful, beautiful soul. Thank you. Friends, delegates, and fellow citizens.
Careful of that camera angle there, buddy. We might see if there's no hole.
Message of confidence, strength, and hope. 4 months from now, we will have
get shot with a fucking 5.56 at 3,000 feet per second.
And we will begin
a little tiny Band-Aid's all he gets.
The greatest
right?
years in the history of our country.
The thing would have had it
Together
just
we will
barely
launch
graze
a
him.
new era of safety, prosperity, and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. The discord and division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We rise together or we fall apart. I am running to be
I will say, if he
president
really did get shot,
for
that would hurt
all
like
of
a
America,
bitch.
not half of America.
Like, he'd be in pain right
Because
now.
there
That would
is
be
no
agonizing.
victory in winning for half of America.
It must have, if
So
it did hit him, it
tonight,
just clipped a little piece of his ear
With
off.
faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States.
Have you ever seen him do the Q thing in the air? It's so fucking funny. I missed it, Be Great. I've been talking like an idiot. I'll shut up.
Thank you very much.
Queen Homunculus on the Discord. There is now a Q-Tard channel. It's got everything.
Thank you very much.
Join us on the Discord. I got a lot.
And we
there
will do
already.
it right. Gonna do it right. Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of
Oh, did he?
love
Where
and
did he say
support
that, Be Great?
following
I
the
missed it.
assassination
Was it
attempt
tonight?
At my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened, and you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
What the left does not understand,
Music
the only way you
was
could
loudly
stage this
playing,
is with
and the
military,
campaign
well, I should
was
say
doing
that, but
really
with
well.
government level money. You couldn't
I
just
went
do
to
it.
the stage and the crowd
You couldn't just do it
was
the way
cheering
that they
wildly.
think. He
Everybody
doesn't have
was
that
happy.
power if the front
I
page
began
reality is true.
speaking
If front
very
page reality is true, he
strongly,
does not have
powerfully,
the
and
resources to
happily.
stage something of that magnitude. It just doesn't
because I was discussing
and he would be
the
caught
great job
already.
my
He would already be
administration
exposed.
did on
The only way that
immigration
could be
at the
staged
southern
is if
border.
there is government
We were
action.
very proud of
That's
it.
it. Massive, massive power. Because it's a huge event. Cameras everywhere.
Behind me,
so it's either
and
real
to the right,
or it's an
was
op
a large screen
of a
that
magnitude
was
you are not going to
displaying
fuck
a
with.
chart
You are not going to prove it
of
wrong.
border
It is never gonna
crossings
come apart.
under my leadership.
This is 9/11 level.
The numbers
If
were
they could stage 9/11, they
absolutely
could stage
amazing.
this. Trust me.
In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right.
Just use reasoning, guys. Just use logic.
And was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can
And to be
only
clear,
be a
I'm not saying
bullet.
it was staged. I'm saying
And
it's
moved
entirely
my right
possible.
hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand
Especially
was
if you
covered
believe what
with
I
blood, just absolutely blood all over the place.
Show the ear, bro. I want to
I
see it.
immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground.
The reason they
Bullets
think he's going to become a
were
dictator is
continuing to
because
fly.
when he gets back in and starts cleaning
As
house,
very
that is the
brave
argument they're
Secret
going to
Service
use
agents
to try to
rushed
derail
to
it,
the
to try to cause
stage,
civil
and they
war.
really did. They rushed
But
to the
it's
stage.
only just going to delay things. It's only just going to hurt a little bit more. The left is going to believe he's a dictator until this is fully done. When it's fully done, we'll see what happens.
These are great people at great risk.
There's
I
always
will
going to
tell
be a
you.
percentage of the
And
people that will
pounced
not believe the truth. no
on
matter
top
what
of
come out.
me
They're
so
too
that
far
I would
gone.
be protected. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that.
Say something about God for your voters.
The amazing thing is that prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight.
Yeah, the
We would
dictator
not
was
be
fucking hilarious,
together.
dude. That was so fucking funny.
The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening
When they're in the helicopter, I
in the
shit
fading
myself almost.
sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know, and when even a single bullet is fired, just a single bullet, and we had many bullets that were being fired, crowds run for the exits or stampede.
That's another interesting
but
thing
not
to
in
know.
this case. It's very unusual.
How come there was virtually no of that? None of that. That is interesting. He's not wrong.
This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact,
That's right,
many of
Queen.
them bravely but automatically
Question
stood
everything.
up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper. And then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front. Nobody ran, and by not stampeding, many lives were saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually most did, that I was
Guaranteed
dead.
the left
They
media
knew it
is going
was
to
a
say he
shot to
sounds
the
tired
head.
and weak
They
now.
saw the blood.
Guaranteed.
And there's an interesting statistic.
He
The
sounds
ears
like he's less with it
are the
now.
bloodiest part. If something happens
just
with
like
the
Biden.
ears, they bleed more than any other part of the body. For whatever reason, the doctors told me that. I said, why is there so much blood? He said, it's the ears. They bleed more. So we learned something, but they just...
He hardly bled at all for...
They just,
by
this
the way.
beautiful
At least
crowd,
what I could
they
see, I
didn't
didn't
want
see
to
the
leave me.
puddle
They
on
knew I
the...
was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me, and you can see that love written all over their faces.
I love propaganda. Oh, my God.
Incredible people. They're incredible people. Bullets were flying over us, yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance and with only one bullet used, took the assassin's life, took him out.
I don't know, something about a water tower, too, but we'll see.
I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here. No.
Brilliant. Utterly brilliant. Whoever started that, utterly brilliant. Imagine being a normie who loves Trump right now. Just imagine. Just let yourself feel that.
But I'm not.
You're crying right now.
And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena
I
only
admire
by
good
the
propaganda.
grace of Almighty God. In watching
You guys know
the
he's probably a
reports
Gnostic Templar
over the
or something,
last
right?
few days, many people say it was a providential moment. Probably was. When I rose, surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead, and there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over. But I could see it, and I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight."
Imagine just being a normie dude with your fucking MAGA hat on right now. Just imagine that shit. Imagine being this guy.
Thank you.
Imagine right now.
Once my clenched fist went up, and it was high into the air. You've all seen that.
Yes, it does, doesn't
the crowd
it?
realized
anyway?
I was okay.
Because
and
the old
roared
deists were probably
with pride for our country like no crowd
Probably.
I have ever heard before. Never heard anything like it.
I keep telling you guys, we're watching Mystery Schools
For the
at
rest
War
of
right
my
now.
life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey Comparator. Unbelievable person, everybody tells me.
I don't want to make light, because if he's a real guy, then rest in peace, brother. But that
And
guy
seriously
could not have been more
wounded.
perfect
Two other great warriors.
optically for him.
Spoke to them today. David Dutch.
And if he was a real man,
James Copenhaver.
then rest in peace, brother. I
Two
am so sorry
great
for
people. I also spoke to all three families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them, and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters, and still are. But Corey, unfortunately, we have to use the past tense. He was incredible. He was a highly respected former
many people are
fire
watching
chief,
this? Let me
respected
see.
by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen.
Biden couldn't fill that. He
Incredible
couldn't have that
woman I
many
spoke
people
to
if he
today,
fucking paid him.
devastated. And two precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly, acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man
Yeah.
he was.
God damn. Can you imagine? Oh, what a good job. Yeah. Proper fucking yes. Look at that. Look at that. You couldn't beat him with a fucking stick right now. You it's so over. Oh shit. I hope that guy's real. I hope he's watching.
I want to thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it, but we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close.
Can you imagine the people
But I
who
am
are
very
mad
proud
watching
to say
this?
that over
Could
the
you
past
imagine
few
being those
days, we've
coping
raised
seething freaks right now?
$6.3 million.
Fuck that fascist fireman.
For the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine, just called up. He sent me a check right here. I just got it. $1 million. From Dan Newland. Thank you, Dan. And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said
they're
the
gonna
same
make a
thing.
statue
You're
of
right,
that
sir.
guy.
We appreciate so much what
They're
you're
going to
doing.
name a wing of the new White House.
Nothing
after.
can take
new White House?
the place in the
Don't
case
be
of
surprised.
Corey and the other two. By
Kansas,
the way,
I believe.
they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. They're warriors. So now I ask that we
Just be careful.
observe
Don't
a moment
Don't drink
of
the
silence
MAGA
in
sheep
honor
Kool-Aid
of
either. Be
our
aware of
friend
both sides,
Corey.
guys. Thorne's a Trumpy. No. I just see you with eyes different than yours.
There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours, and this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of human achievement and greatness. This is what we need.
Listen carefully.
Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined than ever.
Ascension timeline.
I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody in this room. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Everybody on Rumble, how you doing? I know there's only like 2 or 3 of there, but thank you for joining us.
Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver a government that serves the American people better than ever before. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause is pure. No matter what obstacle comes our way, we will not break, we will not bend, we will not back down, and I will never stop fighting for you, your family, and our magnificent country. Never. And everything I have to give with all of the energy and fight in my heart and soul, I pledge to our nation tonight. Thank you very much. I pledge that to our nation. We're going to turn our nation around, and we're going to do it very quickly. Thank you.
This might be the real Trump. Be great. There's supposedly at least 4 of him running around, too.
This election should be about the issues facing our
Did you say something,
country
honey?
and how to make America successful, safe, free, and great again. In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right,
And
listen,
we must
guys.
not
The Trump that
criminalize
you guys have
dissent
seen for the
or
last 15
demonize
so years is a
political
crafted
disagreement,
image.
which is what's
Watch
been
him when
happening
he was much younger.
in our country lately at a level that nobody has ever seen before. In that spirit, the Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing
crafted
the
himself to
justice
be
system
appealing
and
to middle
labeling their
America,
political opponents
despite being a rich
as an
billionaire.
enemy of democracy. Especially since that is not true. In fact, I am the one saving democracy for the people of our country.
That's right, Nanerta, since 1871, the DC Corporation. That's right, Alpha. Which
And very
ended in
big news, as you
2018.
probably just read. On Monday, a major ruling was handed down from a highly respected federal judge in Florida, Eileen Cannon, finding that the prosecutor and the fake documents case against me were totally unconstitutional, and the entire case was thrown out of court. With all of that publicity, thrown out of court. If Democrats want to unify our country, they should drop these partisan witch hunts, which I have been going through for approximately 8 years. And they should do that without delay and allow an election to proceed that is worthy of our people. We're going to win it anyway, but worthy of our people. On this journey, I am deeply honored to be joined by my amazing wife, Melania.
We're going to take the agenda home in a different way. We're going to be nicer about it.
No, I'm kidding. Maybe. Maybe.
And Melania,
Be careful
thank you
what
very
you believe
much.
in.
You also did something really beautiful, a letter to America calling for national unity, and it really took the Republican Party by
I feel like
surprise.
Captain Kirk
I
in a
will
swivel
tell
chair.
you, it was beautiful.
I need a Mr. Spock.
In fact, some very serious people said that we should take that letter and put it as part of the Republican platform. That would be an honor, wouldn't
Hail
it?
the Galactic Federation of
Right?
Worlds. That's right.
Mr. Congressman? But it
Can you
captivated
imagine?
so many.
We're just
so
nuts. We're
I
probably
also
just crazy.
wanna
It's
thank
probably
my
everything.
entire
Probably front
family
page
for
news is probably
being
true.
here.
We're just
Don,
nuts.
Kimberly,
Which do you think
Ivanka,
sounds
Jared,
more crazy? That we're
Eric,
crazy?
Lara,
And
Tiffany,
that
and Michael.
what you see on TV is
Baron.
true?
We love our Baron. And of course, my 10 wonderful grandchildren. You saw a few of them up there on my lap before. And how good was Dana? Was Dana good? I mean, you know, was he good? You know, he
It
was
is more
on
fun, Queen.
Probably
It's way more
the only
fun.
vacation he's had in about, maybe ever, because he works, but about 10 years with his wife, very far away. I won't tell you where, but very, very far away, beautiful place. And my people called, and he said, "Yeah, I won't be able to do it. This is many, many years. I promised my wife I can't do it." And they came in, they said, "Dana won't be able to do it," because he was my first, second, and third choice. I said, "Well, you know, that's
I wonder what the
too
truth
bad,
is
but I
beyond that,
understand
Big Red.
he's
Anyway, you
away,
think the
and
Galactic
that's
Federation
good.
of Worlds
It's good
has
for
their own
him."
conspiracy theories about
And that
the
was
Q
it. About
continue?
30 minutes later, she came back in. "Sir, Dana just called. He's going to do it." And his wife, she said, "You can't turn him down. You just can't do it. You have to go." That's a good wife. So he got on a plane. He got here a little while ago. Now he's going to get on the plane in a little while, and he's going to go back home to his wife. But they're great, and I just want to thank her and him and their whole family, because that's not easy. And Kid Rock, same thing. Called, he said.
Yeah, John
He
Delancey.
said, "I wanna be a part
he
of
really
it.
is Q. It's not an actor. He's
I
just
wanna
pretending to be
part,
one. He's
because, you
really
know,
a Q
Kid does
spirit.
his great song, Big, Big Monster song. I had no idea. You know, he became a friend of mine over the last 10 years. And he's amazing. Everyone loves him. I didn't even know how big he was. You know, he has rallies, 35, 40,000 people he gets every time he goes out. I think he's making so much money, he doesn't know what the hell to do with it. You want to know? And then we have my other friend, and I've known him so long, and we took that song, and it was a big success, but we made that. I saw a chart of great songs to America. That was #1 on the chart recently, #1. So that's Lee Greenwood, a very special, beautiful person. He's a beautiful man. But they all wanted to be here. They called. And how about the Hulkster? How good was he? You see him?
That's right, brother.
Where is he?
Come on, lady brother.
Boy, oh boy. You know, they may call They may call that entertainment. I know about entertainment, but when he used to lift a 350-pound man over his shoulders and then bench press him 2 rows into the audience, I say maybe entertainment, but he is one strong son of a gun. I will tell you, I watched it many times. There aren't a lot of entertainers that can do that, right? You were fantastic. Thank you very much. Followed by...
That was a little low. You were fantastic. Oof.
What was that all about? Boy, that was good. I didn't want to really come up here. But he was so great, and he's such a good young man. He went through a lot of trouble, and Don last night was incredible. He went through so much trouble. They got subpoenaed more than any people probably in the history of the United States. Every week they get another subpoena from the Democrats.
Thank you, Alpha.
Crazy
Alpha says
Nancy
for
Pelosi, the whole
$4.99.
thing.
Just remember,
boom,
folks, when
boom,
life gives
boom.
you lemons, make lemonade, not Kool-Aid. What'd I miss?
They've got to stop that because they're destroying our country. We have to work on making America great again, not on beating people. And we won. We beat them and all. We beat them on the impeachments. We beat them on
You think he's sick of
indictments.
this
We
shit
beat
yet?
them. But the time that you have to spend,
Or is this
if
like
they
his
would
non-duality?
devote that genius to helping our country, we'd have a much stronger and better country.
And just so you guys know, as soon as this is over, I am going to bounce because I am tired. It's been a couple days, not
And
going to lie. I
Jason,
lost my dog.
The
My
biggest
dog just
star
died.
in country music. Jason, thank
Very
you
depressing.
for being here. Jason.
She was
thank you
old though.
very
She was
much.
old. She was 16. So
Jason Aldean. He's
it was
good.
her time.
I like
man,
his.
did that
I like his
suck.
wife even better.
That was
by
a
the way, she's
tearjerker.
here. Thank you, Jason. But I'm thrilled to have a new friend and partner fighting by my side. The next Vice
Don't
President
trust
of
him.
the United States, the current Senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance,
I don't fully
and his
trust him.
incredible wife,
We will see.
Usha.
Could be Pence 2.0. We will see. Thanks, Evan. Thanks, Queen. She was our second house pet when we got married, but the one that made the house a home.
He's going to be a great vice president. He's going to be great. He'll be with this country and with this movement, greatest movement in the history of our country. Make America great again. When they criticize it, they say, we're going to try and stop MAGA. I said, MAGA is making America great again. What are you going to stop? There's nothing to stop. Then they say, oh, that's right. It's very tough to fight it. And all of the people that did
Thanks,
try and
guys.
fight it have
I mean,
failed.
It sucks because
But
this
he's
year
going to be
I
with us
lost
for a
3
long time,
loved
and
ones.
it
I
was an
lost
honor
one of our
to
birds.
select
My mom
him.
died
Great
in
student
April. My
at
dog
Yale.
just
His
died.
wife was a great student
A lot
at
of
Yale. They
illness
met
in
at
the
Yale.
family.
These are
It's
two
been
smart
rough.
people.
It's been a massive karmic reset. Massive.
So, J.D., you're going to be doing this for a long time. Enjoy the
It's
ride.
definitely put some humility in me where I didn't have it. You probably won't notice.
And a very special thank you to the extraordinary people of Milwaukee and the great
That's
state
right,
of-
Queen. Thank you. His wife does look like his handler, doesn't she? By the way, she's Indian.
There they are.
Nothing
That's-
against India, by the way.
You are
but
so
she's
easy
Indian.
to spot.
Oh, thank you, Be Great Anyway, for $9.99. He says, in
And
memory
Green
of
Bay's
a
going
good
to have a
dog.
good team this
That's
year,
right?
right?
Thank you, bro.
They're going to have a good team. They're going to have a good team. Most of the audience doesn't like it, but it's true. You're going to have a very good team this year. And by the way, Wisconsin, we are spending over $250 million here, creating jobs and other economic
I just want you guys to know, like, what went down in
I
Russia
hope you
when
will
they
remember this in November and give us your
replaced
vote.
Putin.
I am trying to buy your vote.
Very similar tactics.
I'll be
going
honest
on here,
about
I think.
that. And I promise we will make Wisconsin great again. We're going to make it. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here tonight to lay out a vision for the whole nation, to every citizen, whether you're a young or old man or woman,
a lot of people
Democrat,
think he picked
Republican,
J.D.
or
Vance
independent,
to be
black or white,
like
Asian
a concession
or
to the deep
Hispanic.
state so they ease off
I
him a little
extend
bit,
to
so he
you a
buys himself some
hand
more
of
time. But we'll
loyalty
see.
and of friendship.
It could be we're all wrong. JD
Together
might be
we
a double
will
agent.
lead
He might be a good
America
guy.
to
Who the
new
fuck
heights
knows?
of greatness like the world
I haven't
has
looked into
never
him
seen
far enough
before.
yet to
We
know.
were right there
I
in
don't
the
completely
first
trust
term.
him.
We got hit with COVID. We did a great job. Nobody knew what it was, but nobody's ever seen an economy pre-COVID. And then we handed over a stock market that was substantially higher than just prior to COVID. Coming in, did a great job.
If you understand how much they've been
We got
strangling
credit
our
for
economy, our
the
will,
war
our
and defeating
minds,
ISIS,
you will
and
understand
so
how
many
easy
things, the great
it was for
economy,
him
the
to
biggest
boom our
tax cuts
economy for a
ever,
little
the
bit. You
biggest
just had to
regulation cuts
take his foot
ever,
off the brake a little
the
bit.
creation of Space Force, the rebuilding of our military. We did so much.
Imagine what's going to
We did
happen
so
when there is
much.
no
Right
brake
to
being
try,
applied. Imagine
right
what's
to
going to happen
try
when
is
we're
a
not being
big deal.
repressed.
We got right to try. They were trying to get that for 52 years.
In fact, we're going to have to be careful that it doesn't go too
Somebody's
fast.
terminally ill, and hopefully there's nobody in this audience, but it does happen a lot. They're terminally ill and they can't use our new space age drugs and other
This is
things
important.
that we are way ahead. We have the greatest doctors.
I don't know if
in
it's
the
going to be
world,
med
the
beds
greatest
or not, but the technology
laboratories
that's
in the
coming
world,
for
and you can't do it. They've been
healthcare
trying to get that approved for 52
in
years.
your
It wasn't
lifetime,
that easy. The
you may end
insurance
up living to
companies
be
didn't want to
200.
do it. They didn't want the risk. The labs didn't want to do it because if
We'll
it
see
didn't
if we
work,
get it.
people are
I
pretty
hope we
far
do.
down the line toward death. They didn't want to do it. The doctors didn't want to have it on their record, so I got everybody into an office. 52 years they tried. Sounds simple, but it's not. And I got them to agree that somebody that needs it will, instead of going to Asia, Europe, or someplace, or if you have no money, going home and dying, just die. We got them to sign an agreement, agree to it, where
What's
they're
up,
not gonna
Mel
sue
Lucifer
anybody. They're gonna get all
on,
of this stuff. They're going to get it
on
really
Rumble?
fast.
Thank you for
And
joining us.
What's happened is we're saving thousands and thousands of lives.
There's not a lot of
It's
people on Rumble,
incredible.
but I understand.
Right to try. It's a great feeling. Under our leadership, the United States will be respected again. No nation will question our power. No enemy will
Negro
doubt
anyway
our
says
might.
exactly. They've
Our
been pillow
borders will
smothering
be
us for
totally
years now.
secure. Our economy will soar. We will return law and order to our streets, patriotism to our schools, and
And to
importantly,
be clear,
we
Queen,
will
I'm not saying
restore
that is
peace,
what's going to happen, but
stability, and
I see a
harmony
timeline like
all
that.
throughout the
very,
world.
very. If we shift
But to
right,
achieve
it's
this
there.
future, we must first rescue
he
our
saying?
nation from
To achieve this
failed
future.
and even incompetent
Good timing.
leadership. We have totally
Almost synchronistic.
incompetent leadership. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. Under the current administration, we are indeed a nation in decline. We have an inflation crisis that is making life unaffordable, ravaging the incomes of working and low-income families, and crushing, just simply crushing our people like never before. They've never seen anything like it. We also have an illegal immigration crisis, and it's taking place right now as we sit here in this beautiful arena. It's a massive invasion at our southern border that has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction to communities all across our land. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Then there's an international crisis, the likes of which the world has seldom been part of. Nobody can believe what's happening. War is now raging in Europe and the Middle East. A growing specter of conflict hangs over Taiwan, Korea, the Philippines, and all of Asia. And our planet is teetering on
It's
the
real,
edge
Queen.
of World
It's
War
completely
III.
real. That's how magic works.
And this will be a war like no other war because
You
of
do
weaponry.
not change the world
weapons are
around you. You change the world
no
you
longer
witness.
army tanks going back and
change the
forth
frequency, you
shooting
change
at
the
each other.
vibration.
These
That means
weapons
you're
are
changing to
obliteration.
match a timeline which meets
It's
your
time for a
interests.
change.
But you have to
This
understand
administration can't come close to solving the
there are
problems
limitations.
we're dealing with.
And they're collective
very
limitations.
tough,
There's personal
very
limitations.
fierce people. They're fierce people. And we don't have fierce people. We have people that are a lot less than fierce, except when it comes to cheating on elections and a couple of other things. Then they're fierce. Then they're fierce.
Remember, the material world is ruled by Saturn,
So
Chronos,
tonight,
time.
I
That's
make
the
this
that's
pledge to
the
the
mythical understanding,
great people of
the
America.
mystical understanding.
I will end the
The astral is
devastating
not ruled by
inflation
time.
crisis
It is
immediately, bring
localized, but
down
it is not
interest rates, and
temporalized.
lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill.
Anything that participates in time. Time works different in the astral for a reason, as does space. Oh, thank you, Alpha, for another 49. She says, keep being
Can you
yourself and
believe
stay
what
true
they're
to
doing?
yourself. Unity and free will to all. Best
by
wishes
doing
to
that,
you,
we
DH, and
will
beautiful
lead
Camilla.
a
We love you
large-scale
too, Alpha. Thank you so much.
decline
I
in
can't wait to see you
prices.
guys all
Prices
again
will start to
sometime when
come
this is
down.
over.
Energy
I really can't wait.
raised
I
it.
want to have
They
a
took
nice
our
big
energy policies
meetup
and
again.
destroyed them. Then they immediately went back to them, but by that time,
Something a little bit more
so much
intimate.
was lost. But we will do it at levels that nobody's
Big
ever
party,
seen
big
before.
barbecue,
and
something cool.
We'll end lots of different things. We'll start paying off debt and start lowering taxes even further. We gave you the largest tax cut. We'll do it more. You know, people don't realize I brought taxes way down, way down.
Talk about ending
and
the
yet
income
we took
tax.
in
Come on.
more revenues the following year than we did when the tax rate was much higher. Most people said, how did you do that? Because it was incentive. Everybody was coming to the country. They were bringing back billions and billions of dollars into our country. The companies
I mean, that's the
made it
reparations we're going to
impossible
get
to
for
bring
the
it back. The tax
generations
rate
of
was too
bullshit.
high,
Is they're going to make
and
it
the
prosperous as
legal
fuck. I watch.
complications
I would
were far
hope
too
that's what they
great.
do. That'd be
I
awesome.
changed both of
Cross your
them.
fingers.
And hundreds of billions of dollars by Apple and so many other companies were brought back into our nation. And we had an economy the likes of which no nation had ever seen. China, we were beating them at levels that were incredible.
That's a great way to put it. Be great.
And they know
Watch
it.
for the EBS.
They know it. We'll do it again, but we'll do it even better. I will end the illegal immigration crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built. On the wall, we were dealing with a very difficult Congress, and I said, oh, that's okay. We won't go to Congress. I call it an invasion. We gave
Don't
our
forget, the
military
Akash is the same thing as the
almost
Eva.
$800 billion.
So keep that in mind.
I said, I'm going to take a little of that money because this is an invasion, and we built, most of the wall is
It's all
already built,
intertwined
and we built
as
it
the
through
same, just
using the
different
funds
words.
because what's better than that? We have to stop the invasion into our country that's killing hundreds of thousands of people a year. We're not going to let that happen. I will end every single international crisis that the current administration has created, including the horrible war with Russia and Ukraine, which would have never happened if I was president, and the war caused by the attack
Don't
on
forget, the Akashic
Israel,
record is not about the past.
which would have never happened if I was
It
president.
is the story.
Iran was
It's the
broke.
whole story.
Iran had no money.
The
Now
entire
Iran has
library
$250
of
billion.
all
They made
possible,
it all over the last
beyond possible.
2.5 years. They were broke.
It's the total
I
potential
watched the
of
other
the,
day
of the
on a
source,
show
of the
called
one, of
Deface
the
the
monad,
Nation.
of the,
Has anyone
of the,
seen it?
It's all the
And they
possibilities.
had a congressman who was a Democrat say, well,
It's
whether you
an
like him or
infinite
not,
number.
Iran was broke dealing with Trump. I told China and other
Every
countries,
moment
if
of
you
your
buy from
existence, you're
Iran,
scanning the Akashic
we will
record,
not
experiencing it as
let
if
you do any
it is
business in
now,
this country, and we will
experiencing
put
it as if it is
tariffs
happening.
on every product you do send in of 100% or more. And they said to me, well, I think that's about it. They weren't going to buy any oil. And they were ready to make a deal. Iran was going to make a deal with us. And then we had that horrible, horrible result that we'll never let happen again. The election result, we're never going to let that happen again.
I can't
They
believe
used
there's still
COVID
people
to
who get all
cheat.
pissy when you talk
We're
about
never
it.
going to let
being-
it happen again. And they took off all the sanctions, and they did everything possible.
All
for
timelines
Iran.
are possible, Queen.
And now
we got to
Iran
invert
is
that a
very
little bit. It's
close
a
to
figure of
having
speech I
a
fuck up
nuclear
too.
weapon, which would have never happened.
It's not
This
all
is a
possible
shame
timelines. It's all
what this
timelines are
administration,
possible.
the damage that this administration has done, and I say it often. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, added them up, they will not have done the damage that Biden has done. I'm only going to use the term once.
That's
Biden.
right, Queen.
I'm not going to
It is
use the name
non-linear.
anymore.
It has
Just
nothing
one
to
time.
do with the past.
The damage
It
that
has
he's
everything
done
to
to
do
this
with
country is
everything.
unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Together we will
But
restore
you
vision,
and I
strength,
and everybody
competence,
else
and
in this mortal
we're
realm,
going to have a thing called common sense, making
have
most
the
of our
concept of
decisions.
past,
Actually,
present,
it's
and
all
future.
common sense.
and so to our perspective, we cannot access
Just
the
a few
future of the
short
record.
years ago,
Not
under
in
my
our mortal state.
presidency,
Our
we
higher
had the
self
most secure
knows the
border
future.
and
It
best
knows what
economy
we can reach.
in the history of our
but our
country,
mortal
in the
self,
history
our
of the
body
world.
mind,
We had the
when we're
greatest
incarnate,
economy in the
we are
history
limited,
of the world.
just like in a video
we
game.
had never
Your
done
character is
anything
limited
like
to the
it.
paths in front of it.
We were beating
You, the
every
player,
country,
can choose to do
including
whatever you
China,
want.
by
You can even
leaps
cheat
and
in the
bounds.
game.
Nobody had seen
But the,
anything like
the character, the avatar,
we had no
is limited to the
inflation,
game
soaring
world.
incomes were
You,
going.
so long as you are incarnate, are
Nobody's-
limited to the avatar's
Nobody can
perspective.
believe it. You can't
You're
believe
limited
what
to this
happened
avatar's
4 years
perspective,
ago.
and this
is
perspective requires a
happening
conscious
now
relationship
in
with what
reverse.
you call time.
And the
As long
world
as you have a conscious
was
relationship
at
with what
peace.
you call
Inflation
time,
has been a
you
killer
will have
for
a
our
past,
country.
a
No matter
present,
what
and
you
a
make
future.
it,
They are
doesn't
illusory,
matter because
but not the
inflation is
same.
eating you
That is
alive.
what you will
People that were
experience.
putting away money.
You want to experience
They
a
were
different
making
future.
great
It's
wages,
not a
the
matter of
highest they've
changing
ever
anything
made,
other
but
than
they
the
were putting
direction
away
you're
a lot
going
of
in the
money.
temporal
Now they
matrix.
are just being destroyed. They're not putting away anything. They're barely living. They're going into savings accounts. They're taking out their money to live because of inflation. Inflation, remember, it's called a country buster. You can go back to Germany
That's
from
true.
100 years
The founding
ago.
fathers
You
said,
can
"I
go
care
back
not
to
for
any
which who
country
blah blah
that
blah makes
suffered
the laws.
great
Give me control of the
inflation.
banks."
We've suffered the worst inflation we've ever had.
Big deal shit.
But go back and see what's happened to those countries. We've had the worst inflation we've ever had under this person. But in less than 4 years, our opponents have turned incredible success into unparalleled tragedy and failure. It's been a tremendous failure. Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken. And by the way, you know who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens. And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our
Careful
country?
how you say it, Trump.
The black population and the Hispanic population,
He didn't
because
say the
they're
blacks.
taking
That
the
got him in
jobs
trouble on
from
Twitter
our
the other
black
day.
population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering.
He's got to make
because of
nice
it.
with the unions because the unions,
Thank you.
they're traditionally
Thank you.
left.
I like you too.
He's got to make nice.
Thank
with
you
the
very
unions.
much. Inflation has wiped out the life savings of our citizens and forced the middle class into a state of depression and despair. That's what it is. It's despair and depression. We cannot and will not let this continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. We're going to be a great nation.
Okay, did you hear that? We were a great nation, and we will be a great nation again. We have been a DC corporation for the last long-ass time, 100 and change years.
With proper leadership, every disaster
will be a sovereign
we are now
nation
enduring will
again.
be fixed, and it will be fixed
Coded
very, very quickly.
comms.
So tonight, whether you've supported me in the past or not, I hope you will support me in the future, because I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear
Say
about
tippy
the
top,
American
Trump.
dream anymore. With great humility, I am asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Be excited. Be excited. And by the way, the news reports, look at all of those big networks. Look at them. They're all here.
Just so you guys know, you don't come
Every
out
one
of your
them
meat suit.
has said
you go into
this
yourself
could be the
when
most
the meat suit is no longer what
organized,
you ride
best
around.
run, and most enthusiastic
It just looks like
convention
you're
of
floating
either
on your
party
knees.
that they've ever seen. Every single one.
You go in one layer, not out. This idea that you pop out of
And
your
it's
body
true.
is nonsense.
It's true.
We don't even
And there's
have a
love
body.
in the room. There's great love in the room. So I better finish strong. Otherwise, we'll blow it. And we can't let that happen. Now, this was great. All of the great
Oh,
people
no, you're fine,
that
Alpha.
spoke. And
I'm not
everybody
even
hit a
correcting you, I'm
home
just
run. I
speaking.
mean, there's not one that I can think of where I said, oh, gee, that wasn't great. Every single person. I refuse to be the only one. Don't do that to me. They're already getting ready. See, I gave him an idea. Now, this was a great convention. This was, I think we're actually going to go home and miss it. You know, usually with a first of all, look at these crowds. You'd never have this at a convention. Look at these crowds. Love, it's about love. This week, the entire Republican Party has formally adopted an agenda for America's renewal, and you saw that agenda, and it's very short compared to the long, boring, meaningless agendas of the past, including the Democrats. They write these things that are hundreds of pages long, and they never read them after they're done. In their case, fortunately, they don't read them because they're pretty bad. It's a series of bold promises that we will swiftly implement when you give us a Republican House. And Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We have
He's
our
a
great
stable
Speaker
genius.
of the House with us tonight, Mr. Speaker.
Stable genius, be
Thank you
great
very
anyway.
much.
That's the meme. He's a stable genius.
A Republican Senate. We have many senators here. And send me back to our beautiful White House just a few short months from now. We're talking about just months. It can't come fast enough. We have to get it done. First, we must get economic relief to our citizens. Starting on day one, we will drive down prices and make America affordable again. We have to make it affordable. It's not affordable. People can't live like this. Under this administration, our current administration, groceries are up 57%, gasoline is up 60 and 70%, mortgage rates have quadrupled. And the fact is, it doesn't matter what they are because you can't get the money anyway. You can't buy houses. Young people can't get any financing to buy a house. The total household costs have increased an average of $28,000 per family under this administration. Republicans have a plan to bring down prices and bring them down very, very rapidly. By slashing energy costs, we will in turn reduce the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and all household goods. So much starts with energy. And remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country by far. We are a nation that has the opportunity to make an absolute
So this is one of the
fortune
things that I do
with its
worry about.
energy.
Is
We have it, and
I
China
hope we're not
doesn't.
just going back to the
Under
old
the Trump
system.
administration,
I
just
hope that
3.5
this will be
years
used to develop the
ago,
energy of the future.
we were
the
energy
0 point
independent,
energy,
but soon
whatever it's
we will
gonna
actually
be that they
be better
release
than
first.
that. We will be energy dominant and supply not only ourselves, but we will supply the rest of the world with numbers that nobody has ever seen, and we will reduce our debt, $36 trillion. We will start reducing that, and we will also reduce your taxes still further. Next, and by the way, they want to raise your taxes 4 times. Think of it. And all my life, I grew up watching politicians. I always loved politics. I guess I was on the other side. I'd watch and they were always talking about, we will give you a tax cut. We will give you a tax cut. My whole life, I was watching, I will give you a tax cut, right, Mr. Congressman? That's all they talked about. This is the only administration that said, we're going to raise your taxes by 4 times what you're paying now, and people are supposed to vote for them? I've never heard it. You're paying too much. We're going to reduce your taxes still further. We gave you the biggest one, as I said. We're going to give you more, and it's going to lead to tremendous growth. We want growth in our country. That's what's going to pay off our debt. And next, we will end the ridiculous and actually incredible waste of taxpayer dollars that is fueling the inflation crisis. They spent trillions of dollars on things having to do with the Green New Scam. It's a scam. And that's caused tremendous inflationary pressures in addition to the cost of energy. And all of the trillions of dollars that are sitting there not yet spent, we will redirect that money for important projects like roads, bridges, dams.
Just remember, Alpha, that's probably a generation or two away.
Meaningless, green, new scam
but
ideas.
It sucks because I wish we were there now. But humanity is probably not ready because my understanding is the really good energy tech,
and I will
you end up with like anti-gravity tech as well because they're basically the same thing. That's my very elementary understanding. They're not going to give you flying cars with anti-gravity because you can fucking make bombs and shit. So they're probably not going to give us the really good shit until we have been
U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car.
So
and right
some
now,
of this
as
is
we
pipe
speak,
dream stuff.
large
to be clear.
factories just
but we can hope.
are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening on our border, and they're being built by China to make cars and to sell them into our country. No tax, no anything. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen. And the leader of the United Auto Workers should be fired immediately. And every single auto worker, union and non-union, should be voting for Donald Trump because we're going to bring back car manufacturing and we're going to bring it back fast. They're building some of the largest auto plants anywhere in the world. Think of it, in the world. And we're going to bring it back. We're going to make them. We don't mind that happening, but those plants are going to be built in the United States, and our people are going to man those plants.
You guys have to understand they have been trying to bring America down. That was always the plan.
And if they don't agree with us, we'll put a tariff of approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States. We have long been taken advantage of by other countries.
Buy your
And think
Hondas
of
now.
it, oftentimes these other countries are considered so-called allies. They've taken advantage of us for years. We lose jobs, we lose revenue, and they gain everything and wipe out our businesses, wipe out our people. I stopped it for 4 years. I stopped it. And we're really ready to make changes like nobody had seen before. And remember, USMCA, I got rid of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with USMCA, which is, they say, the best trade deal ever made.
Why?
Actually, probably the best trade deal was the deal they made with China, where they buy $50 billion worth of our product.
Nonsense.
They were buying nothing. They buy $50 billion worth. They had to. But I don't even talk about it because of COVID. I don't even mention it, frankly, because of what happened with
they are, Alpha.
The China virus.
Hopefully that'll flip. China.
We will not let
China's asshole,
countries
Mr.
come
Trump.
in, take our jobs, and plunder our nation. They come and do that. They plunder our nation. The way they will sell their product
So
in
now
America
we're just into a
is to
basic Trump
build
rally
it
speech.
in
The
America.
same old
Very
stuff.
simple. Build it in America and only in America. And this very simple formula, and Congress has to go along with us, and they will. This very simple formula will create
hope it doesn't
massive
go too much
numbers of
longer. I'm
jobs.
tired.
We will take over the auto industry again, and many, many, hundreds of thousands of jobs. We lost so many jobs over the years. If you go back 20, 25 years, they've stolen, going to China and Mexico, about 68% of our auto industry manufacturing jobs. We're going to get them all back. We're going to get them all back, every one of them. At the center of our plan for economic relief are massive tax cuts for workers that include something else that's turned out to be very popular, actually. Here it's very popular in this building and all those hotels that I saw that are so nice. I'm staying in a nice one. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No
Now, is this
tax
how he
on
weans us
tips.
off of taxation the way we have it? I don't think we're going to end up with no income tax. I think that can't really be done. I'd like it to be done, even with the new system. I don't think it's going to happen. But I think he'll get it down
I got
because
that
he's
by
going to do the
having
tariffs.
dinner recently.
So hopefully we end up with
in
a
Nevada,
very
where
low
we're leading
income
by
tax,
about
maybe a flat
14
tax.
points.
That'd be a decent
Hello.
start. But the goal would be
I'll
to
see
get
you there
income
very
tax
soon,
and abolish
everybody.
it. Because if you get rid of
We're
the
having
Fed, you
dinner
probably
at
won't
a
need
beautiful
income tax for
restaurant
much
in
longer.
the Trump building on the Strip, and it's a great building, and the waitress comes over. How's everything going? A really nice person. How's everything? Oh, sir, it's so tough. The government's after me all the time on tips, tips, tips. I said, well, they give you cash. Would they be able to find them? She said, actually, and I didn't know this, she said, very little cash is given. It's all put right on the check. And they come in and they take so much of our money, it's just ridiculous, and they don't believe anything we say. And they've just hired, as you know, 88,000 agents to go after them even more.
What if those 88,000 agents are actually going to be cleaning out
said,
the deep state's bullshit?
This shows the level of
A lot of the evil shit that they're doing under Biden is probably so they could smoke screen their way into doing stuff
But I
against
said to her,
the
let
deep
me
state.
just ask you a question. Would you be happy if you had no tax and tips? She
Just
said,
a
what a
theory.
great idea. I got my information from a very smart waitress. That's better than spending millions of dollars. And everybody loves it. Waitresses and caddies and drivers and everybody's a large group of people that are being really hurt badly. They make money, let them keep their money. I'm going to
That's right, Inerta.
protect Social Security and Medicare. Democrats are going to destroy Social Security and Medicare because all of these people,
Find out
by
what the red
millions, they're
numbers are
coming
on your
in,
Social Security
they're going
card.
to be on Social Security
just
and
leave it there.
Medicare and other things, and you're not able to afford it. They are destroying your Social Security and your Medicare. Under my plan, incomes will skyrocket, inflation will vanish completely, jobs will come roaring back, and the middle class will prosper like never, ever before, and we're going to do it very rapidly.
You know why it's going to be rapidly? Because they've been spending the last 4 years getting it set up and ready to
But
go
no
all around the
hope or
world.
dream
And
we
when
have
we get
for
into the right
America
spot,
can
it's just going to
succeed
click.
unless we stop the
And it'll look like a
illegal
natural
immigrant
organic change to
invasion,
everybody in
the
front
worst
page
that's
world.
ever been seen anywhere in the world. There's never been an invasion like this anywhere. Third world countries would fight with sticks and stones not to let this happen. The invasion at our southern border, we will stop it, and we will stop it quickly. You heard Tom Homan yesterday. Tom Homan, put him in charge and just sit back and watch.
I do feel bad for
Brandon
some of
Judd,
my friends that are going
Border
to get burned by
Patrol,
that.
he's incredible. These guys, you know, they really, their job is a lot easier if they don't have to do anything.
A lot of these
but
people,
they want
they're
to. They're
innocent.
patriots. Brandon Judd,
They
Border
come
Patrol,
here
ICE.
because of what
ICE goes
their
out. You
cabal
have to
has
see
done
what
to
ICE
their
does
country.
with MS-13.
Like Guatemala,
you have these are probably the worst gang, and
just
ICE
sick what
goes
they've
in
done.
there. And
The
I know a
whole
lot
reason
of
these
people
people
on these
come
rows
here
here,
is because
and they're
of what
very
they've
tough
done to
people.
them.
But they don't want to do this job.
Drives me nuts.
They'll go into a pack of MS-13 killers. They're the worst, probably the worst gangs in the world. And we have thousands of them. I moved thousands and thousands out in my 4 years. We moved them out, and it was a pleasure. But ICE would go right into a pack of these killers, and you see fists flying, you see everything flying, and then they take them. They put them in a paddy wagon. They take them back, and they
Okay,
get 'em
Mel Gibson
out of
in
our
the
country.
fucking
And the other
signs.
countries weren't accepting them
Put
back.
'em in
and
the
I called
paddy
up
wagon.
and I said, tell them that we're not giving them economic aid anymore. And the next day, I got calls from all of these countries that were terminated. Billions of dollars we spend on economic aid to countries that does us, frankly, no good. And the next day, I was called by everybody. I couldn't take all the calls. Sir, what's the problem? I said, you won't take your killers back that you sent in caravans into America. You won't take them back. Well, sir, if you'd like us to, we would give very serious consideration to doing that. And within 24 hours, they were being taken back. For years and years, when I first came in, they said President Obama tried to get him to go back, and they wouldn't accept him. They'd put planes on the runway so you couldn't leave the plane. They'd close the road so you couldn't take the buses. They'd all have to turn back. As soon as I said no more economic
That's right,
aid
Ninurta.
of
I'm not
any
talking
kind
about
to
them
any
specifically,
country that
Ninurta.
does
I'm
that,
talking
they
about.
called back and they
We
said,
all know
"Sir,
the
it would
last
be
4
a
years
great
has
honor to
been
take
a
MS-13.
combination of
We love them very
optics and soldiers, basically.
We love them very much, sir. We'll take them back. At the heart of the
Oh, Alpha, that
Republican
sounds
platform
terrible.
is our
Is
pledge
everybody
to
okay?
end this border nightmare and fully restore the sacred and sovereign borders of the United States of America, and we're going to do that on day one.
I do worry about the...
That means two things on day one, right? Drill, baby, drill, and close our borders.
Don't forget Putin, day one. He's got a lot of shit to do on the first day.
And by the way, and I think everybody as a Republican, as a patriot in this room, and most Democrats, we want people to come into our country, but they have to come into our country legally. Legally.
Stop fucking the third world up.
Less than 4 years ago, I handed this administration the strongest border in American history. But you can see on the chart that saved my life, that was the chart that saved my life. I said, look it, I'm so proud of it. I think it's one of the greatest, it was done by the Border Patrol, one of the greatest charts I've ever seen. It showed everything just like that. You know the chart. Oh, there it is. That's pretty good. Wow. Last time I put up that chart, I never really got to look at it.
Nanerto, a lot of my friends that are from other places will put it that way.
But without
they
that
may not
chart,
have certain papers that they need to
I
prove
would not
that they're
be
from
here
here.
today.
They hate the MS-13 guys. They're like, they make it so much harder for everybody.
Never got to
like,
look at it.
They get it. A lot of them, they liked what Trump did because they got rid of so many of them. And now they're coming back, and they complain about it. I've had some of these guys say that they can't stand him, but they're gonna vote for him. They're not even legal.
I never got to see it that
Figure
day.
that one out.
But I'm seeing it now, and I was very proud. If you look at the arrow in the bottom,
Exactly, be great.
That's
Exactly.
the lowest
Banana
level,
republics
the one
were
on the
forced to
bottom,
be
heavy
banana
red
republics.
arrow.
Our
That's the
CIA
lowest
goes
level
in,
of illegal
topples their
immigrants
governments
ever
so
to
that
come
our
into
big
our
agri
country.
companies
Recorded
could move
this.
into their
Right there.
nations like Guatemala, take over the banana industries away from the locals.
And that
It's
was
a
my
fucking
last
shit
week
show.
in office.
It wasn't
And
me,
then
you,
you
and
see what
everybody
happened
else
after
here,
I left.
but it was our
You
CIA.
go
And for
out
that,
a little
I
bit further,
don't feel
getting to
personally
be a little bit
responsible,
old,
but I do
but
feel
I love it anyway, right?
like there's
But
got to
you
be
can
something
go
we
much
can do.
higher with those numbers. Look what happened right after that. The invasion began. We had the opposite. We stopped the invasion, but the invasion that we stopped was peanuts by comparison to what happened after I left. Look at what happened after I left. They took over our country. We ended all catch and release. We shut down asylum fraud. We stopped human trafficking and forged
That's right, the
historic
good old
agreements to
NGOs.
keep illegal aliens on foreign soil. We want them to stay on their soil. Under the Trump administration, if you came in illegally, you were apprehended immediately and you were deported. You went right back. The current administration terminated every single one of those great Trump policies that I put in place to seal the border. I wanted a sealed border. Again, come in, but come in legally. You know how unfair it is? So many people, hundreds of thousands of people, have been working for years to come into our country. And now they see these people pour into our country at levels that are unprecedented. It's so unfair. And we're not going to do it. We're not going to stand for it. They suspended wall construction, ended remain in Mexico. We had a policy, remain in Mexico. You think that was easy to get from the Mexican government? But I said, you must give it to us. If you don't give it to us, there will be repercussions. And they gave it to us. But not easy. Canceled our Safe Third agreements.
Hopefully we won't need to do all that
Demolished Title
anymore,
42,
Nanerto.
implemented nationwide
I've never gotten really
catch
into
and
some of that
release. That's
stuff.
catch
I
and release,
I
where
do
we
follow
catch
some
them
people that
and release
talk
them into
about
our country.
getting
I had
you,
we
not the
catch
sovereign
them
citizens,
and
but
release
the
them
other
into
groups.
Mexico. There's a slight
And,
difference.
I've thought about it, but
And took 93. This is the previous administration. 93 executive actions to throw open our border to the world. The entire world is pouring into our country because of this very foolish administration. The greatest invasion in history is taking place right here in our country. They are coming in from every corner of the earth, not just from South America, but from Africa, Asia, the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. You know, the press is always on me because I say this. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He'd love to have you for dinner. That's insane asylums. They're emptying out their insane asylums. And terrorists are coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. Bad things are going to happen. Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up while crime statistics all over the world are going down because they're taking their criminals and they're putting them into our country. A certain country, and I happen to like the president of that country very much, but he's been getting great publicity because he's a wonderful shepherd of the country. He says how well the country's doing because their crime rate is down. And he said he's training all of these rough people. They're rough, rough, rough. He's training them. And I've been reading about this for 2 years. I think, oh, that's wonderful. Let's take a look at it. But then I realized he's not training them. He's sending all of his criminals, his drug dealers, his people that are in jails, he's sending them all to the United States. And he's different in that he doesn't say that. He's trying to convince everybody what a wonderful job he does in running the country. Well, he doesn't do a wonderful job. And by the way, if I ran one of the countries, many countries, many countries from all over, I would be worse than any of them. I would have had the place totally emptied out already. But we become a dumping ground for the rest of the world.
People are still just going on and on and on about Project 2025. In like a month or two, no one's going to remember that shit.
They're getting away with what they're getting away with, but they're not going to be getting away with it for long. That's what I can tell you. In Venezuela, Caracas, high crime. Caracas, Venezuela. Really a dangerous place, but not anymore. Because in Venezuela, crime is down 72%. In fact, if they would ever win this election, I hate to even say that, we will have our next Republican convention in Venezuela because it will be safe. Our cities will be so unsafe, we won't be able. We will not be able to have it there. In El Salvador, murders are down by 70%. Why are they down? Now, he would have you convinced that because he's trained murderers to be wonderful people. No. They're down because they're sending their murderers to the United States of America. This is going to be very bad. And bad things are going to happen, and you're seeing it happen all the time. That's why, to keep our families safe, the Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country.
This is where it might get messy.
Even larger than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower from many years ago. You know, he was a moderate, but he believed very strongly in borders. He had the largest deportation operation we've ever had. Just recently, I spoke to the grieving mother of Jocelyn Nungary, a wonderful woman, a precious 12-year-old girl from Houston who last month was tied up, assaulted, and strangled to death after walking to the convenience store just a block away from her house. Her body was dumped near the side of the road in a shallow creek, found by some onlookers.
It's going to take a lot of work, and there's going to be a lot of resistance to it unless
charged with
something
Jocelyn's
massive happens
heinous
between now
murder
and
of two illegal aliens from
because
Venezuela.
even people who are for it, they don't
who
want
came
it to be
across
done
our border,
messily. They
were in
don't want people
custody,
to
and
be
were
hurt.
then released into
And
the
there's
country
gonna be a
by this
lot
horrible
of
administration
chances
that
for
we
it
have
to go
right
wrong.
now. I also met recently with the heartbroken mother and sister
This
of
is one of the areas
Rachel
where
Morin.
I am very
Rachel
like,
was a
there better be a
37-year-old
fucking Q
mom
plan.
of
There
five
better be an operation. There
beautiful
better be
children who was
massive
brutally
fucking
raped
something
and
about to
murdered
happen
while
that's
out
going to
on
get
a
people
run.
on
She
board
wanted
with
to
it
keep
because
herself in good shape. It was very important to her. She was murdered.
as much
The
as I
monster
agree it's
responsible
necessary,
first killed
it's-
another woman in El Salvador.
It's going to be one of the
before
uglier parts.
He was led into
at least the way
America
things
by
are
the White
looking at the
House. His
moment.
White House let them in. He then attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home
But
invasion
pulling
in
a
Los
fucking
Angeles
knife out of
before
somebody to
murdering
save their
Rachel
life
in
doesn't
Maryland.
always look pretty either.
Traveled
so.
all throughout the country, doing tremendous damage. Rachel's mother will never be the same. I spent time with her. She will never be the same. I've also met with the wonderful
I also
family
don't
of
love this
Lakin
this
Riley,
inflection that
the
people who
brilliant
come here are
22-year-old nursing student. She was
all
so proud
murderous
of
criminals.
being
and
first in her
that's
class.
Obviously not true.
Who was out for a jog on the campus of the University of
But
Georgia
he's
when
not
she was
speaking to me.
assaulted,
He is
beaten,
speaking to the normie.
and horrifically killed. Yet another American life was stolen by a criminal alien set free by this administration.
I've had people
These
say,
were
"Oh, you're voting for the
incredible
lesser
people
of two
we're talking
evils."
about.
Blah,
These
blah,
were
blah, blah. He's
incredible
still
people
evil. Show
who
me the
died.
good guy.
Tonight, America,
If Mr. Rogers were to
this
fucking
is my
try to
vow.
become
I will
president,
not let these killers and
he would look like a
criminals into
villain
our
within a couple of
country.
weeks with the way the media is. So there is no such thing as a good guy.
I will keep our sons and daughters safe. As we bring security to our streets, we will help bring stability to the world. I was the first president in modern times to start no new wars. You know, we were the toughest, we were the most respected. And you saw this. Hungry, strong country, run by a very powerful, tough leader, tough guy. Press doesn't like him because he's tough. And he came out recently. They were asking him at an interview.
Careful.
The whole
Careful.
world is exploding.
Oh, shit.
What's happening? What's going on?
Did y'all see
Viktor
that?
Orban, Prime Minister of
His
Hungary,
fucking
very
bandage
tough
almost
man.
fell off.
He said, I don't want people coming into my country and blowing up our shopping centers and killing people. But they said to him, tell us what's going wrong, what's happening, what is it? He said, there's only one way you're going to solve it.
If he was shot in the ear like that in 3 or 4 days
President Trump
touching
back
it, that would
to
have
the
hurt.
United States because he kept everybody.
You get punched
at
in the
bay.
fucking ear. Get punched in the ear 3 days ago.
He
Oh,
used
I
a
think he is
word
bleeding.
I
Is he
wouldn't
bleeding?
use because I can't use that word.
Come on, turn
You
your
should
head,
say
you
it was
motherfucker.
braggadocious. The press would say he was a braggart. I'm not a braggart.
Turn it.
But Viktor Orban said it. He said Russia was afraid of him. China was afraid of him. Everybody was afraid of him. Nothing was going to happen. The whole world was at peace. And now the world is blowing up around us. All of these things that you read about were not going to happen.
No blood. Okay, just a
Under
shadow.
President Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. Under President Obama, Russia took Crimea. Under the current administration, Russia is after all of Ukraine. Under President Trump, Russia took
Let's call Mike
nothing.
Tyson. How fast does the ear heal? How fast can you get a wet willy after getting a hole punched in your ear?
We defeated
Well, you see,
100%
boys, it really
of
depends on
ISIS
whether
in
you get
Syria and Iraq. Something that was
a good grip on it
said
with your
to take
teeth.
5 years, sir. It'll take 5 years, sir. We did it in a matter of a couple of months. We have a great military. Our military is not woke. It's just some of the fools on top that are woke.
That's right. That's true. What he just said is completely true. My kid would tell you that there is some, but
I got along very well. North Korea, Kim Jong-un, I got along very well with him. The press hated when I said that. How could you get along with him? Well, you know, it's nice to get along with somebody who has a lot of nuclear weapons or otherwise, isn't it? See, in the old days, they'd say, that's a wonderful thing. Now they say, how could you possibly do that? But no, I got along with him, and we stopped the missile launches from North Korea. Now North Korea is acting up again, but when we get back, I get along with him. He'd like to see me back, too. I think he misses me, if you want to know the truth.
now he's just being
Our
fucking cute.
opponents inherited a world at peace and turned it into a planet of war. We're in a planet of war. Look at that attack on Israel. Look
There
at
will be wars
what's
and rumors of
happening
wars, signs
with
and symbols in the heavens. Oh
The
my
cities are
goodness,
just
it's all
bombed out.
happening.
How can people live like that?
Is he
Look,
the
buildings,
Antichrist?
Massive buildings are falling to the ground. It began to
Or is he the other
unravel
guy?
with the
That'd be fucked up.
disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan.
What if he is of
worst
the
humiliation in the history of our country?
Yeshua
We have never
bloodline?
had a
Wouldn't that be weird?
humiliation like that. 13 heroic U.S.
Luke
service members
Skywalker
were
in the flesh in
tragically
front
and
of us right
needlessly
here.
Killed. 45 others were horrifically wounded. Nobody ever talks about them. No arms, no legs. Face explosions. Horrifically wounded. And by the way, we have a man in this room who's running for the U.S. Senate from a great state, Nevada, named Sam Brown, who paid the ultimate price. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. He paid the biggest price probably ever paid by anybody that is running for office, and I think he's going to do great. He's running against a person that is not good, not respected, a total lightweight. But Sam, I think, paid, really, we were talking about it with some of the senators that are working so hard for Sam, but he paid the biggest price of any senator ever to run for the Senate. I don't think anybody's ever what he did. He was a real hero, a really great person, and he's running, and I hope that everybody gets out and votes for Sam Brown. And we also left behind $85 billion worth of military equipment, along with many American citizens were left behind. Many, many American citizens, emboldened by that disaster. Russia invaded Ukraine. They saw this group of people that were incompetent. We took the soldiers out first. No, we're going to take the soldiers out second. If they would have followed my plan, we had a great plan. But the plan only kicked in if they did everything perfectly, and they weren't doing things perfectly, so we said it doesn't kick in. 18 months.
You guys saw that balloon? I mean, that plane?
We didn't have one, so they were killing them left and right, snipers. And I spoke to the head of the Taliban. You've heard this story. Abdul, still there, still the head of the Taliban. The press got on me, why would you speak to him? I said, because that's where the killing is. I don't have to speak to somebody that has nothing to do with it. And I told him, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever, ever do that again. You've got to stop. Because during the Obama administration, many great people and soldiers, but a lot of soldiers were being killed from long distance. I said, if you keep doing that, you're going to be hit harder than anybody's ever been hit by a country before. And he said, I understand, Your Excellency. He called me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls the other guy Your Excellency. I doubt it. The other guy gave him everything. I mean, what kind of a deal was that? He walked out, gave him everything. The other guy. Do you know that right now Afghanistan is one of the largest sellers of weapons in the world? They're selling the brand new, beautiful weapons that we gave them. But think of it. He actually said to me, but why do you show me a picture of my home? I said, you'll have to ask your people or one of your wives. But he could figure it out. And for 18 months, we had not one attack on an American soldier by the Taliban. 18 months. And then we had that horrible day where soldiers were killed. I was not there because of a ridiculous election. But we had that horrible attack. And they also gave up Bagram, one of the biggest bases anywhere in the world, air bases anywhere in the world, the longest runways, most powerful, hardened, thickened runways. We gave it up. And I liked it not because of Afghanistan. I liked it because of China. It's 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. And you know who has it now? China has it now.
Be great.
We were keeping that. And now China is likewise circling Taiwan, and Russian warships and nuclear submarines are operating 60 miles off the coast in Cuba. Do you know that? No, the press refuses to write about it. If that were me running this country and we had nuclear submarines in Cuba, I will tell you that headlines every day would be, what's wrong with our president? You don't even hear this. You're not hearing about this. Russia has nuclear submarines and warships 60 miles away, Mr. Congressman, from Miami, by the way, happens to be here. Correct? In Cuba. And that would not be stood for if it were somebody else. They don't want to mention it, but now maybe they will. And the entire world, I tell you this, we want our hostages back. and they better be back before I assume office, or you will be paying a very big price.
Rattle the sabers.
With our victory in November, the years of war, weakness, and chaos will be over. I don't have wars. I had no wars other than ISIS, which I defeated, but that was a war that was started. We had no wars. I could stop wars with a telephone call. I could stop wars with just a telephone call. If properly
This doesn't
stated,
have to be great anyway. You're still thinking front page.
We will replenish our military and build an Iron Dome missile defense system to ensure that no enemy can strike our homeland. And this great Iron Dome will be built.
Read the Q post. This is an international operation.
In the USA, we're going to build it.
Nothing is what it seems right now. Virtually nothing is.
And Wisconsin, just like I gave you that massive ship contract, and
it's
you're doing
never
a very
been what
nice
it looks
job,
like. Whether
Governor,
it was
right?
them in control or him. Doesn't matter
Thank
who's
you,
running
Governor.
things.
And they're doing
the
a great
world,
job.
Think about this. Go
In fact,
back
I had a
5,
little
10 years
design
before
change.
Trump
We gave
ever
them a
popped up.
tremendous
Do you think
essentially
all the
what we
crap
used to
going on
call
in the world was
destroyers.
engineered,
These
or
are
was it
now
organic? It's all
most
engineered.
beautiful. They look like
it's all
yachts. They said
staged.
we have to take the bow and we have
It's
to
all been
make
part
it
of a
little
process to
nicer
bring
and
the
a little
world into
point
one
at the
world
top
government.
instead of a flat nose. And the people at the shipyard said, "This guy sort of knows."
That doesn't
what
mean he's got
doing.
total
We have the
control.
most
CIC
beautiful
doesn't
ships,
mean you
right,
have like
Governor, and everybody
carte
sitting
blanche
over there.
control over the whole
And it was a
military
big
industrial
contract
complex.
that
It
everybody
just
wanted. I
means
gave it to
you're
Wisconsin,
calling the shots.
but we're going to have a lot of that built
And
right
it's
here. in
not quite
the
that
state
simple
of Wisconsin
because there's
and
still a state
all other
of
states. Israel has an
division.
Iron Dome. They have a missile defense
There
system.
is still a DC corporation. It is still
342
operating.
missiles
It
were
is just
shot
no
into
longer
Israel,
in true
and only
power.
one got through a little bit. It was badly wounded. It fell to the ground, but most of them are. And Ronald Reagan wanted this many years ago, but we really didn't have the technology many years ago. Remember, they called it Starship, spaceship, anything to mock him. But he was a very good president, very, very good.
So they love Reagan because
But now
Reagan
we
was
have
Trump 1.0.
unbelievable
When
technology.
he was in there
And why
in
should other countries
Bohemian
have this
Grove,
and we
he was a
don't?
double
No,
agent.
we're going to build an Iron Dome.
They often
over our
use
country,
actors
and we're
and
going
stuff like
to
that, just so you know.
be sure that nothing
That's why
can come
they had to
harm
have Papa
our
Bush
people.
as his VP.
And again, from an economic
Because the moment he stepped
development
out of line, they
standpoint,
had him shot.
we're going to
and
make it
Papa
all
VP
right
took
here.
over.
No more sending it out
Papa
to other
Bush.
countries in order to help. It's America first.
Papa Bush technically had
America
2 terms running the country. One was
we will
under Reagan,
unleash
one
the
was by
power
himself.
of American
Then he
innovation.
transferred over to Clinton.
And as we do, we will soon be on the verge of finding the cures to cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and many other diseases. We're going to get to the bottom of it. You remember this gentleman that I don't want to mention other than
Be
one
great
time
anyway.
I
You
had
got to look
because
into
when you say the 10 worst, I had to do
deployments
it.
and things.
I didn't want anybody
there's
to
a
be
lot of shit going on
confused.
people don't see. There's a lot of.
But this man said,
It's
"We're
mostly
gonna
the
find
National
cure to
Guard, the
cancer." Nothing
international
happened.
military,
We're going to get to the cure
military
for
we send
cancer
around the
and
world
Alzheimer's and so many
isn't
other things.
acting
We're
the
so
same.
close
They're
to doing
not
something
in the
great.
same loop. There
But
is
we
an
need
operation going on.
A leader that will let it be done. We will not have men playing in women's sports. That will end immediately.
There's something called devolution that we're witnessing. It's the slow, gradual, controlled implosion.
And we will restore
controlled demolition
and
of the old
renovate our
system.
nation's once
It's got to
great
look rough.
cities,
It's got to
making
look
them
nasty.
safe, clean,
That's the only
and
way it
beautiful
works.
again.
A lot of
And
people
that
only think
includes
two-dimensionally.
our
They don't
nation's
realize
capital,
that
which
things
is
have to
a
get really bad for people
horrible
to change.
killing field. So many things. They leave from Wisconsin. They go to look at the Washington Monument. They end up getting
People
stabbed,
say, well, if
killed,
Trump's
or shot.
president, why did he let
We will
XYZ
be
happen?
very soon very proud of our capital.
Because you're still thinking
Again,
two-dimensionally,
Washington,
front page
D.C.
news world. That's not real. The shadow government, exactly.
America is on the cusp of a new golden age, but we will have the courage to seize it. We're going to take it. We're going to make it a current. We're going to bring this into a golden age like never seen before.
Who's been
Remember
saying
this?
that?
China wants to do it. Japan
Who's
wants
been
to do
saying
it. All
that?
of these countries want to do it. We have to produce massive amounts of energy if we're going to produce the new. If you look at some of the things that have been done.
Who's
and
been
some of
saying
the
we're going to be
things
going
that
into a
we're
golden
going
age?
to do, but AI needs tremendous, literally twice the electricity that's available now in our country. Can you imagine? But instead, we're spending places where they recharge electric cars. They built 8 chargers at a certain location toward the Midwest. 8 chargers for $9 billion. Think of them as a tank for filling up your gas. Think of it. They spent $9 billion on 8 chargers, 3 of which didn't work. And if you were going to do this all over our country, this crazy electric mandate, if you're going to do this all, and by the way, I'm all for electric. They have their application. But if somebody wants to buy a gas-powered car, gasoline-powered car, or a hybrid, they're going to be able to do it.
The
And
only
we're
way
gonna make
electric
that
gets
change
better
on
is when it's
day
competing against
one.
something that actually can beat it. If you just make it so everything's electric, electric will never get better. Let's compete against itself.
So to conclude, just a few short days ago, my journey with you nearly ended. We know that. And yet, here we are tonight, all gathered together, talking about the future, promise, and a total renewal of a thing we love very much. It's called America. We live in a world of miracles. None of us knows God's plan or where life's adventure will take us. I want to thank Franklin Graham for being here tonight. He's an outstanding man. He wrote me a note recently. I have a lot of respect for him. Sir, I love your storytelling. I think it's great in front of these big rallies. But, sir, please do me one favor. It won't make any difference. Please don't use any foul language.
Remember when he started dropping F-bombs and S-bombs? Everyone was like, yes!
He said, it won't make any difference. Actually, it does. The story's not quite as good, but I've been very good. The story is not quite as good, to be honest. I've got to have a little talk with Franklin, but he was great. He's a great gentleman. His father was so incredible, Billy Graham. My father used to love taking me to see Billy Graham. My father would take me to see Billy Graham at Yankee Stadium. He had the biggest rallies you've ever seen. He was a good rally guy, too. But he'd get up, and he was a fantastic guy. My father loved Billy Graham. But I love Franklin Graham. I think Franklin's been fantastic, and I'm working so hard to adhere to his note to me. I'm working hard on it,
There's so many
Franklin.
people that I know that go, he's friendly
But if
with
the events of
Christians, I
last
could
Saturday
never...
make
You
anything
dumb.
clear, it is that every single moment we have on earth is a gift from God.
Christians like Trump, you traitor to Lucifer. Stupid motherfuckers.
We have to make the most of every day for the people and for the country that we love. The attacker in Pennsylvania wanted to stop our movement, but the truth is the movement has never been about me. It has always been about you. It's your movement. It's the biggest movement in the history of our country by far. Can't be stopped.
That's true.
It can't be stopped. It has always been
The only
about
reason
the
that people feel
hardworking,
trepidation is because you're
patriotic
supposed to,
citizens
so
of
that you go and
America.
vote. You're supposed
For
to
too
feel
long,
like
our
we all
nation
have to do
has settled
something.
for too little. We settled for too little. We've given everything to other nations, to other people. You've been told
I even
to
have
lower
people on
your
the left going,
expectations and to
I still
accept
don't like
less for
them,
your
but...
families. I am here tonight with the opposite
over.
message. Your expectations are not big enough. They're not big enough.
Well said.
It is time to start expecting and demanding the best leadership
People have become
in the
so
world.
apathetic,
Leadership that is bold,
so
dynamic,
demoralized.
relentless, and fearless. We can do that. We are Americans. Ambition is our heritage. Greatness is our birthright. But as long as our energies are spent fighting each other, our destiny will remain out of reach.
And now he
And that's
becomes
not
a uniter.
acceptable.
Watch.
We must instead take that energy and use it to realize our country's true potential and write our own thrilling chapter of the American story. We can do it together. We will unite. We are going to come together, and success.
You know what
will
would
bring
put this
us
in the bag
together.
for everybody is if something happens and he comes out and helps some left-wing
It is a
something
story
in
of
a way
love,
that's non-political. Like
sacrifice,
there's
and so many other things.
some olive branch, something
And remember the word
to the moderate left.
devotion. It's unmatched devotion. Our American ancestors crossed the Delaware, survived the icy winter at Valley Forge, and defeated a mighty empire to establish our cherished republic. They fought so hard, they lost so many. They pushed thousands and thousands of miles across a dangerous frontier, taming the wilderness to build a life and a magnificent home for their family. They packed their families into covered wagons, trekked across hazardous trails, scaled towering mountains, and braved rivers and rapids to stake their claim on the wide open, new, and very beautiful frontier. When our way of life was threatened, American patriots marched onto the battlefield, raced into enemy strongholds, and stared down death and stared down those enemies to keep alive the flame of freedom. At Yorktown, Gettysburg, and Midway, they joined the roll call of immortal heroes. So many just so many heroes, so many great, great people, and we have to cherish those people. We can't forget those people.
Be great anyway. He is the Antichrist. He's the anti-Saturnian version. The lie Christ, the Christ that they fed the world that wasn't the real Yeshua.
Is a good thing, not a bad
He is
thing.
the anti-Saturnian Christ.
They saved our country.
I am pretty confident of that.
No challenge was too much. No hardship was too great.
You're welcome, Kyle. Not sure what I did.
No
but you're
enemy
welcome.
was too fierce. Together, these patriots soldiered on and endured, and they prevailed because they had faith in each other, faith in their country, and above all, they had faith in their God. Just like our ancestors, we must.
I mean, for
now
fuck's sake,
come
they even
together,
emulated
rise
the Star
above
Wars
past
trilogy. You had
differences.
A New Hope,
Any
that's Trump,
disagreements have to be
16
put
to 20.
aside and go forward
Empire Strikes
united
Back
as one people, one nation,
is
pledging
2020,
allegiance to one
rooting
great,
out.
beautiful,
And now
I
we're in
think it's
Return
so
of the Jedi,
beautiful,
is
American
this year.
flag. Tonight I ask for your partnership, for your support, and I am humbly asking for your vote. I want your vote. Going to make our country great again. Every day I will strive to honor the trust you have placed in me, and I will never, ever let you down. I promise that. I will never let you down. To all of the forgotten men and women who have been neglected, abandoned, and left behind, you will be forgotten no longer. We will press forward, and together we will win, win, win. Win, 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 win. Nothing will sway us, nothing will slow us, and no one will ever stop us. No matter what dangers come our way, no matter what obstacles lie in our path, we will keep striving toward our shared and glorious destiny. And we will.
You know, there are Christians
not
who really
fail.
do
We
believe
will
he is the
not fail.
Antichrist. Look up on Twitter, Donnie Darko.
Together we will save this country, we will restore the republic, and we will usher in the rich and wonderful tomorrows that our people so truly deserve. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer, greater, and more united than ever before.
Bank on almost all of that being not just political speech.
And quite simply put, we
You're going to
will
need a strong
very
America to deal with
quickly
what's coming.
Make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wisconsin. God bless you. God bless you, Wisconsin, and God bless the United States of America, our great country. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
All right, guys. What did you guys think? We'll spend a few minutes after partying it. But that's it for that. There we go. All right, so let's close up. Sorry if that was a little boring, especially towards the end. He tends to run a little long, and at some point he runs out of steam. And it's just like, I can't. But, yeah, so that was basically a regular Trump rally, which is a little unfortunate for me. I was hoping he'd have a little bit more fireworks, but there were some good moments, and this was exactly what he needed to do. He needed to get out there in front of the normies, the independents, and sound like the sane person in the room. He needed to show that he got shot and didn't go down. I wouldn't be surprised if CNN and MSNBC is talking about how he's so tired looking or something. Don't be surprised for them to do that. But you have to understand a lot of the hyperbole from the left-wing media right now, it's incensing. It is very enraging to people who see through it. But that's starting to also include people on the left now. They're starting to realize, like, these people are acting like Baghdad Bob from the fucking Gulf War. They really are. If you compare what they're doing to Baghdad Bob, it's obvious it's the same thing. So these are regime propagandists that know that the jig is up and they've only got so much time left. That's what a lot of the normies are seeing. That's what they think. The thing is, you guys have to understand, CNN was basically bought out and restructured after 2021. Why? Because the executive orders went into effect that gave President Trump, at the time, CIC now, the ability to take over those corporations. They were found to be working with foreign governments. That's probably what happened. And they took them over and they kicked all the shit out. They just retooled them. So that is why they've become even more unhinged. It's accelerationism. It's almost exactly what some people would have wanted. It's accelerationism to wake up the people. It's that's all it is. But it is controlled accelerationism. It's devolution. It's a controlled collapse of the system by way of accelerating the stupid plan to the point where it's absurd. A lot of the stuff that you were seeing over the last couple of years with the trannies and the drag stream story hour stuff, a lot of that stuff was done to get the average person to say, wait a minute, this is too much. They weren't normalizing it. They were making a spectacle of it. And they were making a spectacle of it because they were trying to wake people up. Unfortunately, though, this is something I don't like, and this is something that I hope gets figured out, is, you know, as much as I am against the woke and all of that crap, those people matter. You know, most people are not like that. Most of the trans community is not like that. Most of the LGBT are not like that. They have their element, but just like some of my friends that are in that persuasion say, we hate those people too. So this is all part of a show, and we all fell for it on some level. A couple of years ago, there was major fallings out on the Discord because some of these issues we all got up in our fucking feelings about. And looking at them in retrospect, they were over nothing because they came to nothing. All it was a revelation of what they were ultimately planning, and it's accelerationism. Now, some of you guys, if you guys turn around and say, well, wait a minute, they're manipulating us now too, and you're siding with the manipulator? No, I'm a realist. I recognize what's going on. I recognize that one was trying to depopulate and enslave us. This one's at least offering us a better solution. I have my reasons. I can't necessarily convince you all of them, but I'm also an adult who's raised a kid to maturity, and I understand that when you're dealing with children, which is the mindset of the average sheep and sheeple, these people they have child minds. Unfortunately, you cannot present them with facts and have them come up with the correct or rational solution. We have been trying to wake up the average normie for decades, and most of them never get it. Most of them never figure it out, no matter how much you show them. So in order for them to wake up, you're going to have to show them the truth the hard way. And part of that requires manipulation. You're going to have to break some eggs. You're going to have to manipulate the people. And hopefully they will eventually come clean about it. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't like it. You guys know I want truth. And I want the truth to be what leads people. But when you're talking about a situation where there was a cabal of people running the world who were fully intended to depopulate and enslave your ass, and they just about had us because most people were walking lockstep right into the meat grinder, what do? You've got to do something to break that conditioning, and the only thing you can do is your own version of the Hegelian dialectic, meaning you have to manipulate. You've got to put people into a crisis so that they will accept your solution. That is what's happening. People can't see it because they're blind to it, because they have the slave gene. Some of us just go, nope. We just see it. It's to us, it's plain as day. It doesn't require any prompting. We might not catch every clue, but we don't require much prompting because we recognize manipulation. We recognize when we're being mind controlled. Now, could there be more layers of mind control we don't see? Of course. I'm probably completely, without realizing it, what you don't know, if you don't know, think of it like blinders. If you don't know that there's other options, you're going to pick the ones that they put in front of you. So that's happening to us right now. I don't know if there's any other options. As far as we can see, it's just this, but maybe there is a third, fourth, fifth option we could have chose that they didn't give us. So we're being manipulated now too. But at least if you can be aware of that fact, and you can be conscious of your ethics and your first principles and all of the things that make you tick, you will have a line in the sand. As the song says, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything, right? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And if you don't have principles, if you don't have first principles that are ethical, that are based on rational things, that inform everything you decide, choose, say, and do, I'm not talking morality. I'm not even talking 10 commandments, although that's an example of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just first principles and ethics. For me, it's the golden rule. It's recognizing the divinity in all things. It's recognizing you all have free will, that so long as you're not harming anybody and you're doing what you do with the consent of people involved, and they're always adults, I don't care what you do. If you're not infringing on my rights, I don't care what you do or say. So long as you're not inciting people to hurt people, so long as you're not all of these things that violate people's rights, there should be 000 imposition placed upon you on what you think to do. And unfortunately, the rank and file of slave humanity is not ready for that kind of freedom. I don't like to say that because I want to give it to them. I want them to have it. But you don't give a child a fucking shotgun and say, go nuts, without any training in how to use the shotgun. If you've got a child that's been abused and has been neglected and has not been educated, you don't give them a multi-million-dollar company to run. So we're talking about an immature group of people that, including us, a lot of us feel like, I feel so enlightened, but in matter of fact, compared to what we probably would be, I'm a buffoon compared to what I would be without everything that was done, So we're not ready as a species for all of it. We're not ready for the freedom that is there. Some individuals are. Go watch Men in Black. It was a great line when what's his name told Will Smith's character, people are stupid, impressionable, fearful, right? Mobs. But individuals, they can be different. And in the same sense, the human race, being a slave species, or at least the descendants of one, that still have many of the same control mechanisms installed in their DNA, they are very easily manipulated with very simple tactics. This is why people like me, psi-vampiric people, can, just by sheer force of charismatic will, get people to potentially listen. I have run cults. I've done stuff like that. I actively, you can ask some people in the group who've been like, why don't you start a cult or an order? Because I know my capabilities and my limits, and I don't ever want to be in a position where I have people, who I can just talk into doing whatever I want. I don't want that. That's not healthy. It's not good for me. It's not good for them. It's I don't want to be a slave master. I do not want to control people. I want people to be free. I want to be able to step back and just let the world run itself. I don't want to be a micromanager. I don't want to be in charge. I want you guys to be free. I want you guys to want to be free. I want you guys, and I think that you will. I think you are. But I'm saying in general, I don't like that stuff. I step back. There's a reason I'm at arm's length with my own community. It's not just because I have my own personal privacy or something like that. It's that the temptation is there. It's always been there. It's not hard. It wouldn't be hard for me to be like, swear your allegiance to this and that. It wouldn't be hard. I know how to get people to do that. And that is, it goes against everything that I've learned and grown to understand. 20, 30 years ago, I would have been like, okay, let's control people. No, now for me, that's anathema, because I hate it. I hate it when I'm controlled like that. I hate it when I'm being deceived and manipulated. And human beings, the only reason that this works is because they've been given that drop of they have that slave mentality. And the thing is about that, pragmatically speaking, those people, unfortunately, they do need leadership. They need executive leadership. This is illustrated in the Bible with King David and all that stuff, King Saul and all that. The people begging for a king when they didn't need one. God was going to say, you don't need a king. This is an allegory. It's a metaphor. It's telling you humanity wants to be controlled. The average person requires it. They cannot function without a pack leader because they are still of that animalistic, servile, primate mentality that isn't part of our true nature. It's that bit of our it's a bit of us that maybe that's the fused chromosome. I don't know. But the point is that I don't think that's how we were. I think you go back far enough, I think whatever was running this planet wasn't like that. Loyalty is a choice. If you don't have a choice, it's not loyalty. So if you're enthralled, if you're indoctrinated, that's not loyalty. You have Stockholm syndrome. You're indoctrinated. You're not loyal. I'm capable of loyalty because it's a choice. Most people are not. Most people will fall for the manipulations of a strong man, of a charismatic individual, and will do whatever they say. I don't mind if I'm convincing. I don't mind if you do or think what I suggest, as long as it's of your own free will. But if you notice, these people running these things, that's revelation of the method. They have to tell you what they're going to do to you, because in their understanding, if you agree to it, they are blameless. If you tell a person, do this and I will do this to you, and they still do it, you're blameless because you warned them. You've given them the choice, because it's all about choice. The temporal nature of the nature of the temporal illusion is all about choice. You choose your timeline. So you need to choose what they're doing. Otherwise, they're on the hook for that attachment, that whatever. Maybe it's not karma. Maybe there is like intergalactic law. I don't know. But for whatever reason, this is what they do. And the good guys are doing it to you too. But in a similar sense, I tell you what I'm trying to get you to do. I'm telling you what I want you to think. I'm not want you to think, but want you to understand, so that this way you can develop your own thoughts on it in an organic way that I'm not manipulating. I can just be like, hey, this is what I think. And I can be firm about it. I can be aggressive about it. But I often tell you both sides. I tell you where I think I'm wrong. Watch out for those leaders that don't do that. Watch out for those teachers that never ever do that. Okay, they're usually manipulating you. The slave mentality, it unfortunately, it is attracted to people who are domineering. So just watch out. Watch your friends. Look at them. Look at what they do. They want to fit in. They want to follow a tribe. They want to follow a herd. They want a strong leader to follow. You notice the whole time I'm watching this, as much as I like Trump and is going to vote for him, you notice I'm picking apart like the dumb shit, the propaganda. There's no cult mentality here. This is another low level, I don't have as much of the blood of Kingu or whatever. I am another low level person, but I have enough, a few drops of that whatever bloodline. I'm not as easily susceptible to that doesn't mean I'm not susceptible. It just means it's not, I need a different kind, right? I need a different sort of manipulation for it to work on me. And it's got to be more of the you're free type of manipulation. You've got to convince me I'm free. Then I'll follow you. Okay. And so I've got to always be on guard of that. I've got to be on guard. And this is why I am constantly looking at this stuff going, okay, How are they going to manipulate us with this? And what is the risks here? Let's say the Q thing is completely true, which I think it is. Is that possibly going to be used to control us in the future? Like, are they really taking over the world to let us go? Or are they taking over the world to guide us to be free, but we're not ready yet? Or are they taking over the world so they can do their version of control? And all of you guys who love Trump, who love all this stuff, who think what I'm saying, this sounds wonderful, Q is great, blah, 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 I have so much hope. Always have the door open a crack to the possibility this is the bad guys, the worst bad guys, that the other guys were bad. Maybe this is even worse. Maybe they're going to keep doing all the same things, the adrenochrome and everything, but you'll never see it now because we're going to go back to the nifty 50s. You're going to feel like everything's fine, but in reality, below the surface, it's just like it's always been. That is a possibility. And if you're not, if you're drinking the Kool-Aid and thinking that's not possible, you definitely drank the Kool-Aid. So this is why even in my own personal life, I don't get upset with the people who say none of the above. If someone says, I will not support Trump and I don't support Biden, I think it's all stupid. A lot of the times their reasoning I think is wrong, but their concept, their heart is right. That is the right mentality to have. But you can have that. You can hold two ideas. You can have that mentality and still play the game and recognize, if I do this, if I support this, it's a strategic move because the other is worse, or this is, I'm trying to steer my life in this direction. And people say, well, Thorne, you're one guy. You don't make a difference. Why would you bother putting this much energy into it? You don't understand the timeline shifting principles. You must act. And by act, I mean you must choose and the act will follow. You must choose your timeline. This requires efforts. It doesn't just happen. Just like with any magic, you don't just do a spell and shit just happens. You've got to act on it in some way, a leap of faith action. You have to put energy into it. You have to put activities into it. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything, or doesn't really do anything. It's not usually. So why is Thorne pouring so much energy into this? Motherfucker, it looks like we're about to go into a golden age, doesn't it? Unless I'm completely wrong, which is possible. So anyway, guys, let me read the last of these things. Christian says, God, I would have laughed so hard if Trump went out there with a cloak and was like, the attempt of my life, yes, has been left me scarred and disformed, but I assure you my resolve has never been stronger. Yeah, that would have been glorious. That would have been hilarious. Patchy says, let's hope normies wake up completely from the delusions they've been fed for generations. Don't get your hopes up on that one. What is going to happen is front page reality is going to shift to being something a little closer to the truth. That's all. And it's going to be enough to get humanity back on track. There are still too many people with too many old ideas, biases, dogmas. We were not just going to be given the toys and let go. It's just not going to happen. Don't get that hope in your head. But we will see a gradual improvement. Life will get better. And then people like me and you perhaps are here to guide people into a better spirituality, a better perspective. We're supposed to. That's why you woke up now. That's why you're here. That's why some of you have incarnated in this time. I'm telling you, I mean, I don't know about some of you specifically, but some of us, some of you, some of us are first wave, second wave, third wave. Put your mind on the starseed shit, whether you believe it or not. The principle is fair. The principle, whether it's exactly what they're saying, it's a fair idea. There's a reason why so many people are snapping into awareness of spirituality, consciousness, magic. There's a reason this is happening, guys. This is it. This is what you're here for. This is the time of revelation. It is the time of myth and legend. This is the turning of the era. You incarnated to watch it. And all of these people that are going through hell, they're the ones paying for it. They're the ones whose karma is being purified because they must have had some bad shit that they were attached to. So all these people that are in so much pain, they're going crazy right now. These people freaking out about the 2025 project. All these people, the people on the right screaming, we're going to lose the country, civil war. All this negative energy, it's feeding the negative parasites, but it's also purging these things. And if I'm wrong, it won't matter. We'll all be dead anyway. So you might as well have hope. It's better to be hopeful and wrong, to be acting proactively towards a positive outcome, even if there's a chance it's wrong. People used to say to me, Thorne, why are you still so positive even though they stole the election? And this is before I was willing to still believe in because I used to believe in the Q stuff a little bit, not a lot, but I had some, you know, it could be. Then the election got stolen. I was like, well, shit. And it knocked me down for a little bit, but I still had this positive attitude. Like, we can still pull this out. But I knew so many people that were like, oh, it's the end. We're all going to die. And we need to have a civil war. I don't understand that mentality. I guess they've never been through adversity, or if they have, they were broken by it. Because for me, you tell me we're doomed, I just say, okay, why stop? Like, my mentality has always been, you may beat me, but you're going to have a scar and you're going to remember me, motherfucker. If you might kick my ass, but you're going to remember me. You're not gonna be like, oh, what a pussy, unless you get lucky. No, I'm gonna keep going, and so should you. Don't ever, no matter how hopeless it is, you just keep going like a zombie. Don't stop. I don't mean like when it's obvious you're going the wrong way, but I mean when you're in conflict like this. Unless it's to regroup or something, you never stop. Like, I used to love that old picture of the frog being eaten by a bird, and it's like choking the bird as it's trying to swallow him. That's how I think. You break into my house, yeah, I'm going to act in self-preservation. I'll run away if I have to. But if it really comes to, no, I'll, like an army ant, I'll die fighting you. It's not even a, it's not a tough guy thing. It's part of that. I will not be ruled. You know, I'm going to go out on my terms, and my terms say, you're going to remember me. All right, let's see. Patchy says that's the law of constant and contract. I didn't hear about that. That's interesting. But it could be. I'd have to hear more about that. All right, guys. So that's it for this stream. Hopefully next week we'll be back to normal stuff. But I am going to be talking a lot more about these things. I told you guys 2 weeks ago. Was I right? Did I not say what was coming, basically? I didn't say in certain words, but did I not give off the energy the last stream I had that I knew? I didn't know specifically what was coming. I just knew something was coming. I could feel it. I could tell within any day now it's going to be time that we're going to have just everybody losing their mind because something big's going to happen, and it's going to be good in a backhanded way. I knew that. That's why I said, line in the sand, motherfucker. I am here. I'm not saying I want to fight everybody. I'm saying I am no longer walking on eggshells. I am no longer holding my tongue. I will with my friends. I'll be tactful. But as a content creator, I'm done pretending I'm neutral. I'm not neutral anymore. I've never been neutral, but I've tried to be neutral. I tried to be as neutral as possible to get as many reasonable people as possible to hear the fundamental philosophical element that I am talking about. Now it's over. Now that ship has sailed. If you're still asleep now, the only thing that's going to wake you up is what's about to happen. And if that doesn't do it, get the fuck out of the way, because we're not holding back. It's over. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Keep growing. Grow beyond me. Fucking learn to not listen to need me anymore. Learn to not like me anymore. I don't care. Learn to hate my ass, but become your own. I'm going to borrow Ralph Smart. Become your own better version, guys. You don't need this stuff. Do your own thinking. Do your own work. And you'll have a YouTube, and you'll sound like a lunatic like me, who's probably wrong about half of what he says, but damn it, he believes it, and he's a nice guy about it. All right, I will see you guys next week. Check you later. Where's the button? Where do I turn this thing off? God damn it, now I gotta... Here comes the look. What's that? Hit that old dusty trail. Okay. Goodbye. There's one. Goodbye. There's two. I think we got everybody. End stream. End stream.